Hello everyone, I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I hope your end of your weekend is going well. Let's see, we're on a hype train, 20% to level 2. If we could get to level 5, that would be rad. We have 3.5 minutes left. Let's see what I missed. Well, I was prepping. Speedy Yoshi with 45 bits. Oh, we got a hydrate. Sorry, I missed that. Ooh, dripped it. Speedy Yoshi says, a Chud I know tried to tell me Star Wars is woke. He said the leaders of the rebels being women, all ignoring the men who questioned them, but then getting wiped out. The rebel leaders were women, and somehow, despite a clear need by the writers to big them up, they all still lost as they didn't listen to the men whose balls they busted when they questioned them. Are we just forgetting that, like, it's part of Poe's character arc to learn to not be a hot-headed idiot? I'm pretty over The Last Jedi discourse. I enjoy The Last Jedi a lot. Nick says, Elliot Hulse loves Czech script. High in for mortality? That's not very Catholic of him. I know. It's interesting. The clip we're gonna watch is kind of baffling, honestly. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 100 bits. Speedy Yoshi says, short Chud video. Oops. Why is that over here? What if I put it here?
That's a very good idea.
Woo! Wow, okay, Jesus Christ. We'll watch this in a sec. Let's catch up with the hype train. Gray Tara 82209, thanks for 5 months. Speak the Truth 16, thanks for gifting a sub. MW1642, thanks for 100 bits. Speak the Truth 16 with 110 says, crap, I started the hype train too early. Radiant Baby, thanks for 8 months, says, happy Sunday to you too. Bittergrin with 100 bits. Bloodwine Tabletop RPG with 50 says, since we're talking Chuds, have you seen the stuff about the Freedom Convoy anti-vax protest? They hit Ottawa, parked on the steps of a war memorial, reportedly were drinking and pissing on it, and they dressed up the statue of Terry Fox in anti-vax gear. Not sure if people outside Canada know him. He's a national hero of sorts for cancer activism. I hate it here. I've vaguely been following it, just in the, it's kind of on the QAnon, like, anti-QAnon forums I follow. Pretty interesting. Assholes, surprise. We're at 162% of the level 5 hype train, by the way, with a minute left. Robert Morley with 10,000 bits, you madman, says, happy Sunday, your hype train bit sugar daddy is coming in hot. Wowzers. Man, you sure do like the word wowzers. Nick says, placing my bets now that the Elliot Hulse clip is going to be eugenicsy. Not quite. Not quite. It's just stupid. Can we get to 169%? Get us to 169%. Oh, we surpassed it now. Overthought with 100 bits says, bits for Goth Queen of the Darkness Hannah. Hail Satan. Thank you. Procagom, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. 248% of the level 5 hype train. This hype train has been murdered. It's been beaten like a dead horse. Jellyfish says, the Freedom Convoy is stupid, but it showed me who I need to block on Facebook. Yeah, this is, you know what the best thing to block on Facebook is? Your own account. Get off Facebook. It's a hive of just the worst. Facebook bad. Hot take. Alright, let's watch this short clip. Thank you, everyone. Oh, holy shit. Procagom gifting another 7 subs? Wow, you're just gifting like mad today. Thank you very much. Nick says, but there's too many cats and dogs and hedgehogs and bunnies, etc. Whew. That was a crazy hype train, everyone. Thanks so much. That was a good end-of-month hype train. Much appreciated. So yeah, I know it's only the 30th. I know we still have one more day, but the way Twitch tallies stuff like hype trains, I usually stream later than it actually tallies, and it has to go on the next day, so this is probably the last, unless we get a hype train later, that's probably the last hype train of the month for me. So, it's always nice to end strong. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's see this quick clip with Jim Jeffries and Jordan Peterson that someone sent.
Making people bake a cake for a gay wedding.
Making them do it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
But here's the argument. So should they be able to deny making a cake for a black couple if they don't like black people?
Allowed to? Probably. That doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, so then we had the civil rights movement,
Yep.
where they said black people, you had to serve them in your restaurants and
Yep.
stuff like that, and it did work, and it did make our society better, but would
Yep.
you argue that that still wasn't right?
No, that was right.
He painted himself into a corner here. Procagam says, I should now be the all-time top gift subber unless Batty Bell comes back. I'm safe for a while. Someone start a gift sub war. I'm a war profiteer. Fun fact.
Why is that different to now if you didn't want to make a cake for black people?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not different.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong about that.
Making people...
That's the most lucid I've heard Jordan in a really long time. He's not been doing great. Anonymous Gifter, thanks for gifting a tier 1 sub. Appreciate it. Doesn't Jordan have scurvy, or is that just Jake's theory? Pretty sure that's just Jake's theory / joke, because he only eats meat. Alright, let's see. What are we going to cover first? It's all bad. It's all bad today. What do we start with? Let's get this out of the way, because I don't want to dwell on this too long. I don't like looking at Ben Shapiro. Okay, so Ben Shapiro recently did a video where he went and he tried to interact with human children. He doesn't relate very well to human adults, so I don't know how well this is going to go, but let's check it out.
So here we are today at a public library, and I know what you're thinking. Ben, haven't you read all the books there already? Of course I have, but that's not why we're here. My producers have given me
A public library, Ben? That sounds like a socialist thing to me. I want a private library. I want Jeff Bezos to have the only library, and only people who pay him can come and sit in there. Ender92, thanks for 20 months, says, 20 months, glad to be part of a community which has allowed me and others to be who we are and explore themselves in a healthy, supportive environment. Love you, Hannah. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're part of the community, too.
stack of cards. They have a bunch of terms on them having to do with the government. I have to explain these to very, very small children in a fashion that kids can understand. So we'll find out how this is going to go. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Conservakids.
Oh, God. What the hell? Can we not indoctrinate our children, please? This is not okay. These people have the gall to be like, but sometimes in some libraries they've had people in drag come in and read stories. And meanwhile, Ben Shapiro's like, I'm about to teach your kids that taxation is theft. Good lord. Artemis8192 says, I started playing GTA Online. I'm RPing as a failed crypto bro. Explains the severe lack of empathy really well. Fun.
Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, you're very well-behaved children.
Hello, I am Ben Shapiro. You are children, and I have been led to believe in movies that you will be very rowdy, but you do not appear to be. Interesting. I will now take a seat.
All right, so I'm supposed to teach you about things today, so get ready.
Yay?
Yay?
I've seen my mom look at him on Facebook.
Oh, God, no.
She said he was a very smart guy.
Do you think he is?
Well, now that I've met him, maybe.
Freedom. Okay, freedom.
Definition?
Oh yeah, give me a definition, go for it.
America.
Definition of freedom is...
These poor children. Oh, no. America is freedom. Gotta get them young. Gotta get that word association going, otherwise you have to actually teach them about issues when they're older. And then if they learn about the actual issues, then why would they follow Republicans who want to do everything in their power to harm them?
America. Okay, that's actually, okay, I kind of like that. I'm with you. America. Okay, so...
America.
Freedom is not the ability...
Procagam says, $100 says every single child here is a paid actor. I don't know if they got paid, but their parents are obviously Ben Shapiro fans. Because the one kid said, my mom watches him on Facebook. He probably sent out a thing from the Daily Wire that said, like, hey, if you are a fan of the Daily Wire and you have children this age to this age in this area, bring them or send an application, and then maybe your kid will meet Ben Shapiro, and you can come meet Ben Shapiro, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if they're paid or not. They probably aren't. Either way, they're kids. They're just kids with right-wing Ben Shapiro parents.
Ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to make good choices and have those pay off. A lot of people kind of think
Freedom is the ability of your employer to ensure that you can't get Plan B because they have personal religious feelings that somehow impact what your doctor is allowed to do for you. Yay, freedom! Freedom is getting cancer and dying in the wealthiest country in the world because you can't make a copay. Yay, freedom!
that freedom is you get to do what you want. So if you want to run into a tree, that's freedom.
Eat.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't eat people like that. You don't have freedom to eat people. Cannibalism is bad.
Oh wow, it's almost like there are limits to freedom, and when you just boil it down to just what is freedom, it's basically vacuous and means nothing, and you're using it strictly as a propaganda tool instead of actually talking to the children about anything substantive about how the government works, how interactions between other people in society work. Weird.
Oh, what that's called if you eat.
That's called cannibalism.
My mom and dad.
All right, more Ben Shapiro explaining cannibalism to children, please. I do want that in my life.
Dad told me I was gonna meet Ben Shapiro.
And did you know who he was?
Nope.
Government. Okay, so who has an idea about government?
Procagam says, freedom is things I like. Communism is things I don't like.
Go for it.
I don't.
Government is what takes all of your money and gives you very little in return.
That is not true.
Okay, that...
Savage, kid. Fucking savage.
That's I mean, it's kind of true. It depends on the kind of government.
Taxes are for.
Yeah, that is what taxes are for, but taxes are theft, children.
Oh, he did the meme. He unironically did the meme. That's unfortunate. Taxation. Oh, boy. Overthought with 50 bits. I hope one of these kids is the reincarnation of Ayn Rand, so she can see what she has wrought on this world. Speedy Yoshi says, speaking of indoctrination, have you heard of the Tuttle Twins? It's a libertarian cartoon. The first episode is all about how taxes are theft and rich people will be generous without taxes. Jake watched it. It's a perfect for Chud Watch. I have it saved. We'll probably watch it, at some point for Chud Watch. Tea with Goblin says, okay, I was going to make a joke about how Ben Shapiro sounds like Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka, but then they actually went there with the cannibalism joke. Everything in this room is eatable. Even I am eatable, but this is called cannibalism, dear children, and is frowned upon in most cultures.
The reality is that government is necessary so that people don't hurt each other, so that people don't murder each other. Right, so people don't eat people. That's right.
Yes.
You do need a government to prevent people from eating people. The Constitution. Who knows something about the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so the Constitution. Okay, the Constitution is the document that lays out the list of rules for what the government can do and what the government cannot do. So the Declaration of Independence is 1776. So right as we're founding the country, right as the founding fathers are founding the country in the Revolutionary War, we fought a war against Great Britain in 1776.
Okay, maybe you do know a lot.
What was that?
Okay, maybe you do.
The Constitution wasn't written until later. The Constitution wasn't written in 1776. What? The Constitution wasn't ratified until like 1789. What the fuck are you talking about, Ben? We had the whole Articles of Confederation before we had the Constitution. What? Hydrate.
Do know a lot. And talk fast.
Yeah, I do
Yes,
talk
very
fast.
fast.
But you guys can keep up. You're young.
I do run pretty fast.
I'm sure you do.
I can run very fast.
I mean,
run super
Let me tell you, I don't worry about talking too fast with kids because my kids wipe me out. My kids tire me out. Okay, the president.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh,
Who knows who the
Biden.
president is right now?
Oh, God. These kids are all about to echo dumb shit their parents have said about Biden. I bet you $1 million. Procagam says, Ben literally can't stop his Gish Gallop speak even in front of children. Speedy Yoshi says, can a drag queen come in from Drag Queen Story Hour and Ben just runs out screaming in terror? That'd be beautiful.
Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
That's right.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Oh, look! The kids just repeating things they've heard their parents say. Crazy, right? Death Guard Elite says, hey Hannah, I have some good news. My GP is willing to prescribe the meds, so in theory I could be starting HRT in 1 to 3 months. That's awesome. Good for you.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Biden. Yeah, I know.
Trump, he is the best. He was better.
This is so fucking weird because, like, I don't plan on having kids. I don't want kids. But even though I'm pretty politically, like, invested and involved, obviously I talk about this stuff relatively often. If I had children this age, I would not discuss politics with them. What? Do you think I would talk to my kids and be like, kids, you know Donald Trump is a piece of shit? Even though I believe that, why would I be trying to fucking indoctrinate my children into my political beliefs? That's insanity. Who does that?
Don't insult the president because he will come and attack you.
Whoa!
Hey now. Yeah, he's way off base about that.
Taxes. Okay, do you guys like taxes?
Taxes are fees that you have to pay for your houses.
Well, yeah, there is.
And air conditioning and solar.
Right, you have to pay taxes on like everything.
Yeah.
Like
watch
everything.
it.
Except
Electricity.
not on your income in Florida, because
I hate
Florida's amazing.
electricity.
Right, so taxes are, the government takes a part of the money that you spend, or the money that you earn, or the property value of your house.
Spend it on useless stuff. What about debt?
Mostly, yes. I mean, they're supposed to spend it on things like the police. They're not supposed to spend it on just random projects.
They don't spend it on random projects. I don't know if you forgot the part where it says to promote the general welfare. Kind of an important line in the founding of our nation. Speedy Yoshi says, as a kid, I really wanted Obama to win because I'm black and so is he. My parents were like, isn't it cool a black guy might be president? Then I had a sleepover at my great-grandparents, and her husband was watching Fox News. I don't remember it, but according to my parents, I came home being like, Obama is awful, McCain should win. I loved my great-grandpa Clarence, but he did nothing but watch Fox News 24/7. Yikes.
Or silly things that they have in their head, and they tend to spend it on kind of silly things very often. But as you get older, you will realize how little you like taxes. Taxes are very, very annoying.
I already think they're terrible.
Alrighty, let's see what else.
Yeah.
Quantitative easing.
What?
Wow, who put this one in here?
What is that?
All right, are we really gonna do
Who's
this?
laughing?
We could do this. Okay,
No.
so yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Everybody's laughing.
The reason that they're laughing is because this is super duper complicated. You know what a dollar is, right? Y'all used dollars before.
Yeah.
How about Monopoly money? Have you guys ever played Monopoly? Right? Okay.
My mom and dad in it.
If you guys went to the store with Monopoly money, could you buy anything?
No.
No, you couldn't. Why not?
Because it's fake.
Because it's not real money. There is an agency of the federal government. It's called the Federal Reserve. Okay, the Federal Reserve controls how many dollars are out there. If they just print a bunch of dollars and then they just give you those dollars, it turns out they didn't make you rich. All that happened is that your dollar now doesn't buy as many things. If
The idea that the federal government in any way, shape, or form shouldn't have levers of control in order to try and stem issues with the economy is stupid. Ben, we learned this, like, during the Great Depression, that it's highly important to have the government being able to kind of poke their fingers into the economy in terms of cash flow, minimum reserves banks are supposed to hold on to, stuff like that, in order to ensure that if things start going off a hill, they can kind of be like, okay, can we pull this back a little, or can we at least make, if it's going to collapse, a little bit more of a controlled contraction than an outright depression, right? These are important things, and acting like they're not just makes you sound stupid. You literally are sitting in front of kids who don't know anything, I don't know why, to make you look smart against people who don't know anything? I don't know, but you just sound stupid.
if the Federal Reserve just makes $1,000 and gives it to you and gives it to everybody, you can't buy an ice cream bar with $1 anymore. Now the ice cream bar is going to cost like $1,000. Okay, that's what quantitative easing is.
Can you explain to me the
That
concept
would be hyperinflation.
of quantitative easing? Go.
I forgot.
So guys, you just learned more than you will in all of college about how the government works.
I don't think Ben Shapiro paid very much attention in any governmental-related class in college,
So one of the questions that
which would explain a lot.
I frequently get asked is, how do I talk to my own children about conservative values and the things that matter? And my answer is Conservakids. Conservakids brings you books like Home.
This is an ad This isn't a paid advertisement for Conserva Kids. Oh, God, Ben. Ben.
Of The Brave, for example, in which they discuss things like American values and American history. They're beautifully
Some being brave means singing your name. Here are the men of the American Revolution. We call them our founding fathers. The king was a big bully named King George III. Our founders had to be brave to win their independence from the king and Great Britain because they were courageous. Today we live in the nation they founded, the United States of America. I get it's a kid's book. Doesn't really explain anything about what happened, but whatever. Let's see. Raven says, I was in Styx, Hex, and Hammer's Twitch chat earlier. He was talking about Omega males, so I kept asking him about his not to bother him. If you can get it, you get it. Or if you get it, you get it. I get Omegaverse. Speedy Ochi says, yeah, Ben, can you explain how they have a livable minimum wage in Sweden and their Big Mac is only like 25 cents more and it's not some dystopian hellhole? Bittergrin says, I mean, that's more than I learned about the government in college. Of course, I'm a theater major. That'll do it. Hats off. Nova, what would you like me to put on? If any preference. If you don't, I'll just put whatever on.
illustrated, they're really well written, and they have values that you can feel comfortable sharing with your children, which is the most important thing. There's so many forces out there that are seeking to twist what kids think. There's so many people out there who want your kids to believe things that they really shouldn't believe, who want to take control of your child's education away from you. Not so with Conserva Kids. Conserva Kids is the way that you can teach your kids about the stuff that matters.
Conserva Kids. Conserva Kids, which is a bad name, by the way. I can put on whatever I want? Okay. Conserva Kids. Let's see what some of their books are. Put on whatever. We'll do the horns. I don't want to cover my hair because it looks nice today. The flower crown, I think, covers it too much. I want to see all the hair because I think it came out pretty nice. Let's see. Home of the Brave, Taste of Freedom, and the Land of Opportunity. We can't see anything about it. What happened, guys? Why the long faces, Dad asked. A fish pulled my rod into the lake, Travis explained as Dad listened. The kids recounted the story of the huge fish Annie caught and the splash they heard as the fish pulled Travis down into the water, or rod into the water. Will you buy me a new rod, Dad? Travis asked. I'm sorry, bud. We just don't have the extra money right now. You can put it on your Christmas list. Christmas? That's so far away. It's only July, Travis protested. Well, you can try and make your own money if you don't want to wait. Oh, God. How much does a kid's fishing rod cost? Kids fishing rod. Like, I don't know if it was a good rod, but you can get, like, a kid's fishing rod for, like, if you want a shitty frozen one, $12. This one's $24. This one, which looks a little more, like, real as, like, a fishing rod, $50? In the next 6 months, you can't afford to get your kid a fishing rod? Holy shit, why did you have children? We can't afford one $50 expense for my child for the next 6 months. Yikes. Brockagam says, $200, that book claims that Native Americans gave us the land. Oh boy. Raven says, first it was cute conservatives, now it's Conserva Kids. I want the job of the do-nothing that comes up with this crap. Nick says, advocating child labor to own the libs.
Bring you all sorts of beautiful books. They have a great variety, a great selection. Check them out today at The Conserva.
Was it Styx's channel I just closed? It's around here somewhere. Why? Yeah, it's right here.
Conservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. You get 15% off when you use code 15Ben. Again, they just make great materials. They're safe for all your kids. Not just safe, they're virtuous for you to get for your kids.
There is no full penetration in these books, kids. I have checked. It is safe for children. 0 full penetration. Sky Comet Fallen says, why did you have children? Because God commanded them to be fruitful and multiply. Consequences be damned. Hydrate. Can I play this after the vid? What is it? No, that's the opening credits to an HBO Max show. I cannot play those without being a pain in the ass for me to have to remove later, so no.
conservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. 15% off with code 15Ben. Okay, go for it.
What do you think about, like, superstars and athletes talking about politics?
So everybody in the country gets to talk about whatever they want to talk about, but athletes and superstars generally don't know anything about what they're talking about when it
Neither does Ben Shapiro. Also, Ben, your party literally, elected, a person who was most famous in the last, like, 3 decades for being a reality TV star. Ben, you literally hired Gina Carano because she said right-wing things, and you didn't like that she was canceled for it. Ben, you goddamn hypocrite. Nick says, generally don't know what they're talking about equals I'm okay with celebrities talking about politics if I agree with them. Yep. Raven says, everyone go check out Benny Shabino's latest book, The Authoritarian Movement. Why won't my wife and her boyfriend let me ride the big rides even though I'm almost tall enough? KBS666 with 11 months says 11 months. What am I doing with my time? Apparently watching entertaining streams. Thank you.
comes to politics. When LeBron James says things, that doesn't mean he knows things. Yeah.
Will you ever be a president?
You know, all the presidents are now 100 years old, right? Like, Joe Biden is really, really old. Joe Biden is 79 years old. I'm 38, which to you guys seems like super old, right? No? Okay, good. That's true.
My mom's 42.
My dad's
and my
52.
daddy.
My dad is 48.
I'll wait until my kids are grown up. I would never run for office.
President Ben Shapiro, if that happens, I'm jumping off the flat earth. I'm done. I'm walking to Antarctica, I'm climbing the ice wall, and I'm jumping off whatever's on the other side. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done if we get President Shapiro.
While I have little kids, because I want to be home with my kids. My kids are super cute. I want to spend like a lot of time with them.
When is Ben gonna admit that he's gonna run for president?
If he wanted to be president, he would probably be it tomorrow, but he just talks about it. Raise your hand if you want Trump to be president. That means you as well. I want you to be president.
Look at how good we've indoctrinated our children, even though they're far too young to understand complex political concepts. Yay! Good lord.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Why are the people angry at the government?
Why are people angry at the government? Because sometimes the government tells us to do stuff the government shouldn't tell us to do.
Do you think homeschooling will ever be banned?
Not in Florida.
I hope it does. Raven with 50-bit says, I'm sure in the next few years that QAnon shaman will run for office.
So I think that there will be places that try to stop homeschooling. I come from a state called California, where monsters roam the streets and garbage is strewn everywhere.
I'm trying to figure out what group he just insulted by calling them monsters. People without homes? You think it's people without homes? I'm just trying to figure out who he fucking called monsters.
It's a horror-scape. No, I'm joking. They don't actually have real monsters, but it's a really poorly, the way that they run the state is really bad. So they have lots of crime, they have high tax.
Which is why it's got the highest GDP of any state in the union. It has one of the largest economies on the planet in and of itself. Property prices are high because people want to live there.
Taxes.
Like you think there is a monster.
Right, exactly.
Prokagam says, if I had a nickel for every time a former TV star was elected to the presidency as a Republican, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I came here because Florida is amazing, guys.
Deadman says, California threw its garbage so far that it hit Tennessee and Florida, Ben.
You're so lucky to be growing up in Florida. Florida's amazing.
America is the best, but Florida's really hot.
What does the government do?
What does the government do? Okay, so there's various kinds of government. There's your local government, like where you live. And then there's the state government, like the state of Florida, and then there's the federal government. They all do different things. So your local government, they do the police and they do the firefighting. Okay, then there's the state government. The state government decides, for example, how money goes to your local public school, for example, or how taxes get paid and how roads get made and all of that. Then there's the federal government. The federal government, the Constitution says what the federal government can do. Make sure that there's an army and a navy and an air force and that they are able to protect us against people who would want to attack the United States.
And then whatever else they want, as long as it gets passed through Congress and is constitutional, Ben. They literally have the legislative branch to make laws so the government can do things? What?
That's the biggest thing the federal government does. Yeah.
Do you think Biden actually follows his own law?
Oh, God.
I think that Biden kind of makes up the rules as he goes. I don't think, unfortunately, he cares very much about the rules for being president. I think he just tries to do whatever he can do.
Who was the last president again, and how did he feel about the rule of law?
And then he hopes that nobody stops him, which is not a very good way of being president. And that's why the founders were really smart. The founders created a system where there are people who can stop you if you break the rules.
Snarlbarks with 100 bits says, why does this video exist? Legitimately, why? Does he think a bunch of children agreeing with him will change public opinion about him? Why is this happening? From what I can tell, it's a sponsored content video from that children's conservative book thing. So this is basically an ad.
Which is really important.
Do you think China purposefully caused a pandemic?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I think that China purposefully covered up a pandemic. It probably started in a laboratory in China, and then it got released, and then they pretended that it was not their fault, and they didn't know what was going on, and they lied a lot, and then it got out and killed a lot of people.
Do you think the Supreme Court will overturn Roe versus Wade?
Oh, good. They're teaching their kids about fucking abortion, too, because kids are clearly capable of having these very complicated moral discussions at the age of, like, 5 or however old these kids are. Hydrate.
Wow. I think the Supreme Court will not overturn Roe versus Wade, unfortunately. I have a feeling that the Supreme Court is going to change the rules of Roe versus
Toeen says, you kids are so lucky to grow up in Florida until climate change drowns them. Then if the next COVID strain that gestates because of Ron DeSantis is a genocidal ass clown doesn't get them first. Nick says, shut the fuck up, Ben. Regardless of who's responsible for the pandemic, your party fucking exacerbated it, you piece of unadulterated shit. True.
versus Wade, but that doesn't mean they're going to throw it out completely. They're going to do what they always do, and they're going to be confusing about it.
Who is your favorite Democrat?
Wow, that is a difficult question.
I know, right?
A Democrat who's alive?
We finally
Right now, Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia is my current favorite Democrat. He's preventing Joe Biden from doing a lot of bad things.
Do you think we can have a stable government again?
I think that the government is still pretty stable, is the truth. We should be grateful to live in a country where the government is this stable. The truth is that if you look at history and if you look at all other countries, there are a lot of countries that really don't have a stable government, and it's really difficult. We're so lucky to live in this country, we really are. So as much as we have problems here in the United States, this is still a fabulous, fabulous country, and we should all really be grateful to live here. And that I guess is the thing that I would say to all you guys. You're gonna live like for a super long time, and you're gonna get to see all sorts of amazing things happen in the country. And the most important thing to remember is the harder you work, the better your life is going to be. The better the decisions you make, the more responsible.
I wonder who amongst these kids are gonna grow up to be actual neo-Nazis, and which kids are going to grow up to be hardcore leftists. Because I feel like the kind of parenting that gets you into a situation where you are chosen to sit and talk with Ben Shapiro is going to result in one of two very extreme political viewpoints when you grow up. There's at least one tanky in there. I guarantee it. Goddamn tankies. Anti-Pretzel says, you are lucky, Ben. Other countries like China, you'd probably vanish after you first criticize after your first criticism of the country's leader. Sky Comet Fallen says, Ben, F off with the patriogasm.
Responsible you are, the more you help other people, the better your life is going to be. In this country, which is the best country in the world, if you make great decisions, you're going to have an unbelievably awesome life. You're going to make a huge difference in the world, and you can make the world a better place.
Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. And what
Oh, good question. Okay, so this is a yarmulke.
Oh, God.
Jews and Christians believe in the same God. We just have
So do Muslims. Fun fact.
slightly different beliefs about the kind of stuff that we have to do that God says that we have to do. So
Also Jesus, which is a pretty big sticking point for Christians, believe it or not.
what this means is that Orthodox Jews who keep a lot of commandments, we keep this on our head, right? In the Bible, when it talks about the Israelites, that's the Jews. So the Jews eventually, now we're their descendants. So we keep the yarmulke on our head to remind us that God is around us at all times, so we should make good decisions, basically. Alrighty, guys. Well, you can go enjoy your day now because it's all over. So you're good. Thank you, guys. It's great to meet all of you.
One of the parents got mad about him talking about being Jewish? No way. I don't believe that. You'd have to give me a source on that one.
Do you want to take some of these kids home?
I have 3 of my own, so more children in my house. No, they've got parents. I feel like their parents should keep them.
Which is
Also, I would have to expand my child torture basement, and I just don't have the money right now. I'm waiting for the Gina Carano movie to come out.
tougher, talking to kids about government or explaining government to Democrats?
Oh, by far, it's more difficult to explain government to Democrats because they're so certain about the things that they know, and those things are just wrong.
Glass houses, Ben. Glass houses.
Whereas kids just don't know things, and you can actually explain them to them.
Are you more or less hopeful?
It's way easier talking to people who can't rebut any of the things I'm saying. It's weird. It's almost like when I talk to adults who actually know things about the real world, they consistently bring up things that contradict the things I'm trying to explain to them. How weird.
Hopeful for the future.
I'm way more hopeful for the future than before I did this, because those kids are smarter than the people that we have in Congress currently.
I only came today because I thought Knowles was gonna be here.
So that's Ben Shapiro talking to kids in order to get money to sell those shitty books. So fun. Now hopefully we don't have to cover Ben Shapiro for a very long time. Yay. Tea with Goblins, thanks for gifting a tier 1 sub. Hacker Noob Camper, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Evil Dead Guy with a link says, how I feel right now after seeing the vid. Oh, I don't know if I can show that. I do. That's from Kingsman, right? I don't know if I can show people's heads exploding on Twitch, even though it's fake. Who do we want to cover first? Multiple people are saying Elliot. H. Barrett says, I mean, Congress includes Gosar, Boebert, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, so a statement about the kids being smarter than people in Congress is technically true. Okay, let's see what Elliot Hulse is up to. Today he's tackling an interesting subject, and that is the fact that he believes all women should do home births for their children. Now, I'm not a doctor, and neither is Elliot, fun fact. So you should talk to a doctor to get medical advice. And you know where doctors are? Hospitals. So I would highly recommend, if you are giving birth, go to a hospital. That way, if anything happens, you and the baby will hopefully be fine. Elliot has different opinions, though, so let's find out why.
Yo, Elliot, my wife gave birth to our son in a hospital after a pretty harrowing experience at the birth center. I have a deep fear of getting her pregnant again and giving birth at the hospital or home birthing, considering how the world is going right now. The hospital in Austin, Texas was great last year, but Austin will be the first place to adopt crazy vaccine rules. Do you have any advice or counsel on easing my concerns with this? So,
this guy is concerned about going into a hospital to give birth because of vaccine rules. So not only is he endangering the life of his child, the mom, and himself through not getting vaccinated, in order to continue putting them in danger, he also wants to have her give birth at home, which is inherently dangerous and has a much higher infant mortality rate and mortality rate for the person giving birth. Not good. Not good. Nick with 45-bit says, let me guess, he doesn't want another person seeing his wife's fagoo? Tucker White says, now, Hannah, maybe he's going to commence his comrade arc by noting it would put you into a shitload of debt. Nick says, my advice, if you're asking Elliot Hulse for advice, don't have kids. And Tucker White says, I spoke too soon.
I do. I mentioned earlier that I tend to be kind of ahead of the curve with a lot of things. And one of the things that I ventured into when my wife first got pregnant back in 2002 was natural childbirthing and home birthing.
Do not do this. This is the opposite of the head of the curve. This is being behind the curve. Human beings gave birth outside of hospitals for most of our existence. You know why we stopped doing that? Because so many of the babies and mothers fucking died. Do you understand why modern medicine is so important? Why it's impressive? And why, for instance, the birth rate has gone up and the death rate has gone down? Actually, I should just say population has gone off. The birth rate has actually stabled off and actually lowered a little bit in some areas. But our overall population has continued to blow up because the infant mortality rate is so low in developed countries. Elliot, do not tell people to give birth at home. You idiot. Speedy Yoshi says, thinking of the only King of the Hill episode I've seen where that one lady wants to give birth in a weird-ass birthing center, but Hank and Peggy try to convince her to please go to a hospital. Yeah, that was an episode of King of the Hill. Dr. Gamble says, just the one line.
You know another really good business? Teeny tiny baby coffins.
And T with Goblin says, look, home births are fine if you have an adequately trained doula or midwife and regular prenatal checkups, but birth is potentially very dangerous. I was a full breech baby, meaning that I was feet first instead of head first, born via C-section. If I had been a home birth like Elliot advocates, both my mother and I would likely have died. Yeah, there are so many factors that could happen. I would not recommend it. Don't do that. Don't do that. I can't tell you what to do at the end of the day. You know, I can't control you. I would highly, highly say don't do that if you value your life and the life of your potential child. Go to a hospital.
Because I became aware of the abuses and the trauma that's associated with giving birth in the medical industry. You know, for thousands of years, women gave birth without having doctors or having surgeons.
And many of a ridiculous percentage died. The person giving birth and the children died, you idiot. Rosalind Faye says, the risk of infection in hospital birth is actually higher than home births. Guess what? Doesn't matter, the mortality rate's still fucking lower in hospitals. Artemis8192 says, I was 3 months premature. I barely survived in a specialist hospital.
Around, right? Like now the surgeon wants to be there. Why? Because they want to cut you open as soon as possible. I had my friend had the same experience.
If there are issues that require a cesarean section, yeah.
Where he was like, his wife wanted to have natural childbirth, but as soon as he got there, the doctor's like, well, you know, it's going to be a matter of time before we got to cut you open and take the baby out, right? Which is...
Nick says, you know what's also higher in hospital births than in home births? Treatments for infection. True.
Barbaric. There was no reason to cut the baby out except the fact that he had to get back to his golf game.
You're not that doctor, so I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. Your friend is probably stupid and wasn't listening when the doctor explained why, at this stage, it would be pertinent to do a C-section, or just didn't understand. Whatever. I very much doubt the doctor was just concerned with, oh, we gotta get this done. Whatever.
Right? So anyway, all my children are naturally birthed, 3 home births. I caught the children, right? Now, I am not an expert and I'm not a doctor, but we hired midwives, right? So we hired midwives. These are women who have a nursing degree, but they also have a leaning towards natural. They want you to have natural births, right? In the home. So we had a woman, she was there. Actually, she wasn't there. 2 of my children, I caught myself, but she was on the phone. She was on her way, right? Because my wife's labors were like that. It's like as soon as she felt like she was in labor, it was like, okay, countdown before the baby's here, right? It was quick. So a lot of times the midwife took a little while, but all my kids came out perfect, natural, normal, and it was just me and my wife at home.
You got very lucky, Elliot. There's a high chance your kid or your wife could have been hurt or killed. There could have been any number of issues. Giving advice to other people about this because you got lucky is incredibly irresponsible.
Right in the bedroom, hey, here comes a baby. That's the way it's been done for thousands and thousands of years. Now, that's not to say that there weren't situations where a mother and a child or both died because they would have needed support.
No shit. Deadman XRPMX says, this seems appropriate.
You see that? That's a stupid bitch.
KR Goss says, also, since we perform C-sections now, people with small pelvises are able to pass on those genes to kids where they would have died before, so the kids can have small pelvises and both parents and baby can die. We are artificially selecting for a deadly genetic condition outside of the hospital. Mr. Sir Knight Kingo says, I was born super early because I was dying. Without doctors to incubate me and keep me alive, I would have been gone. Stone Corbell says, I'm starting to hate the word natural. It's like the word toxin or freedom that have completely lost meaning because of the way idiots use them. I agree.
Well, that's why you have a midwife. And guess what? The midwife has the hospital on call, right? So if you must go to the hospital, I'm trying to get my screen focus back. If you must go to the hospital because it is legitimately an emergency, not just in case of shit, if it's a legitimately emergency, right, and the midwife has the hospital on call, well, then
I think in case of your family dying is a pretty good in case of reason to go to a hospital.
But I would never step foot in a hospital for something as normal and natural as childbirth, right? But I'm not just saying that because I'm a rebel, right? I'm saying that because I dove into the practice. I dove into the study of it. And so I'm going to share with you a couple of resources that I read. The minute I found out...
Plus, check it out. Look at that rad maul sword he has on the wall. If anything goes wrong, he can just cut her open. He can perform a home C-section with that bad boy.
My wife was pregnant. I started reading about this stuff. Here's a book called Male Practice.
Did you know that doctors also read more than you do at medical school?
See it there, Male Practice.
Vast Lunacy says, if the midwives has the hospital on call, why not just cut out the provincial middleman? Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Dr. Gamble says, this all seems sound. I often take advice from someone who has less medical credibility than the surgeon from Surgeon Simulator. I'll have you know, I'm pretty good at that game.
By Robert Mendelsohn. It's about how doctors manipulate women, right? It's an industry, right? The childbirth is an industry, right? They're making money. It's not because they have your best interest in mind.
This is a very America thing, isn't it? Elliot, it's almost like we should take the profit motive out of the healthcare system. Weird, right? Tea with Goblin says, a friend of mine is a midwife. And by the way, let me point this out. Your doctor does not get commission on what services you are treated with. Like my friend Randy, who I play D&D with every week. Really nice guy. He's a doctor. He does not want you to be charged exorbitant fees for his services. He doesn't care. He doesn't make money off of that. He doesn't get paid more if you get a bunch of unnecessary shit done to you. He's a doctor because he wants to help people. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure the fact that doctors get paid very well is nice, but it's a fixed salary, he doesn't get paid a commission for telling you, come into the hospital and I'll look at your broken bone or whatever. Tea with Goblins says, a friend of mine is a midwife who worked on 24/7 pregnancy birth hotlines meant to support people on remote properties who can't get to hospitals. She recounts one chap who called up because his wife was in labor with their 5th child. This one's a bit different than the others, he said. It's coming out head first. Oh, God. Oh, no.
Or that...
Thank you, wife of Moppy Muttons.
It's the best way to do it, right? Because one, for example, when you go to a hospital, they have the woman lay down this way and put her legs up to make the baby.
Yes, in nature, humans actually gave birth standing up, I'm pretty sure. They would, like, squat and give birth.
Come out, which is not natural.
Okay, if I was giving birth, I'm sitting my ass down. I'm not fucking squatting there. Sorry.
Because in fact, that is the wrong way.
Where does this doctor hate come from? I think it stems from an overall distrust of the educated. It comes from a deep-seated distrust of the educated, which I think comes from an insecurity about intelligence. People feel insecure that they are not as intelligent as people like doctors or scientists or whatever. And instead of just recognizing that, hey, people are skilled in different things, that person spent a lot of their life studying medicine, of course they know about that, they're an expert in that field, it affects them, like, personally and makes them feel bad about themselves. So instead of just recognizing that they probably have other skills that are different than a scientist or a doctor, they go, no, I can't just be different, I have to be better than them, obviously, so I have to act like their professional opinion is less valid or equally valid to my uneducated opinion. It's very stupid. I don't even get, like, right-wing people are absolutely decimating themselves right now with being anti-vax and this kind of dumb stuff. It's a really bad long-term play, but never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake, so I hope you and your audience have a lot of luck with this, Elliot. Prokagam, thanks for tier 3 for 8 months, says, today is a good day, subiversary, and top of a leaderboard. Next month's birth is going to be legendary. Indeed it will be. We'll sing songs of it for generations.
Way, and I'm not a woman, right? But my wife has had babies. That's the wrong way for a woman to have a baby. You don't lay down so the baby is like stuck up in your body, and then you gotta push to get the body down. No, you squat over, right? Here I am showing you how to give birth. The woman squats over. My wife leaned over the bed and squatted down. That's how my babies came out, right? Like, I don't want to make it like.
Remember that time when Elliot's kids came out and said that I don't know what pronouns to use, just because this is a weird situation. Elliot secondhand talked about how once one of his kids came to him and was like, hey dad, I think I'm trans, and Elliot just denied it and shut the kid down and didn't let the kid do anything about it, and I don't know how that kid is now. I hope that kid's okay. MMO Addicted, thanks for tier 2 for 20 months. I need to share my pain. I felt like doing my own Chud watch, and I skipped through Sargon playing Vampire the Masquerade, with Arch playing Nazis, with one of them playing a lolly. I'm pretty sure Sargon made a joke about the age of consent. I'm sure he did. That's why I find Sargon being in D&D campaign is interesting, because your personal politics do come into playing D&D, just inevitably. Like, if you watch the D&D stream I do with myself, Actual Jake, Sarah, Randy, Alex, a lot of sort of lefty political stuff comes through in those characters, just because, you know, we're going to tailor a narrative as we tell it to our own personal beliefs, because that's kind of how collective storytelling works. So if you watched only our D&D stream, you would absolutely see, oh, these people don't like, you know, unfair advantages for the rich and disadvantages for the poor, etc., etc. So someday I do want to actually watch the Sargon thing, just to see how much of his weird bullshit comes through. Rosalind Faye with 100 bits says, most hospitals let you birth in any position comfortable if there isn't a medical reason to make you lay. MMO Addicted says it was all over a fan art with a effing Brazzers logo superimposed. Why is it still on YouTube? What the F? Have I lost weight? I have. Thank you.
Like, analogous to making a poop, but that's the way it is, right? Because you got to squeeze down, not lay back and squeeze up. Just that one thing alone, and I learned that by reading this book, that one thing alone made me like, oh, duh. They don't have your best interest in mind. They want to make it.
The fact that Elliot can't think for even 5 seconds, there might be another reason that that's the way that people give birth in hospitals in the United States. Not always, but, historically, primarily, the laying down thing is mind-boggling to me that he thinks no one has ever thought of this before. Alex the Blight, thanks for 9 months with Prime. That's a sub-baby. This sub-baby is a home birth. This sub-baby's name is Gargantuan, Destroyer of Worlds. Welcome to the world, Gargantuan. Artemis8192 says, that's Dev, aka Short Fat Otaku. He's playing a 14-year-old because that was at the age of consent in Germany at the time. Oh, gross. MMO Addicted says, I mean, I'd love to suffer through it with y'all. It's certainly interesting, and I can't help you with Vampire the Masquerade lore and stuff if you want or can help. It'd be interesting. Hernandia Owl says, surprised Sargon would just play D&D given his name. He'd probably feel more at home with some kind of alternate history setting.
Hard for you to have the baby. Why? So they can charge you for a C-section. So they can charge you for extra drugs, right? My wife didn't use any pain medication. Why? Because the baby came out fast. Why did the baby come out fast? Because she wasn't laying on her back.
Elliot, the fact that you think these are like single factor events and that everyone who is giving birth is going to have the same exact experience illustrates exactly why you should not be any sort of, or acting as any sort of authority on these medical things. Elliot, different people giving birth have different experiences, even between births, even if it's the same person. Claiming that every person, if they're giving birth, all they have to do is stand up and squat and do that kind of birth, and they'll all have an easy, healthy time, or most of them will, just makes you sound stupid. Because you're stupid. Nick says, it came out fast because it came in fast. Ooh. Garo the Khajiit says, I feel sorry for this guy's children and wife and basically everyone who knows him. Speedy Yoshi says, they don't just be like, okay, we're gonna cut you open now because we want more money. It's dumb. Aren't C-sections more dangerous than normal births? I couldn't speak to that. Again, because I'm not a doctor.
She was squatting down so that the baby can be pushed down, right? So there are all kinds of wrong things that they do in the hospital that make it so that there's trauma. You have a traumatized experience in the hospital. And obviously you had some harrowing experiences because children aren't meant to be born in the hospital. It's good that the hospital's there, don't get me wrong.
What do you mean children aren't meant to be born in a hospital? According to who?
It's good that there are medical professionals if something goes wrong. But going to the hospital makes shit go wrong.
That's a really stupid and dangerous sentiment.
You see that? Do you see how that works? Come here so that you need us, rather than you need us so you come here.
Yeah, because if it's an emergency situation, it's better to already be at the hospital, Elliot.
Do you see? Do you see this like trickery? But anyway, read the book, right? Male practice. And then this guy...
Leo Perdo, thanks for 4 months, says, happy 4 months, Hannah. I'm lost for words with Elliot. This is sad. I know.
I ended up buying all his books because he was such a G in that book. He's got another book called Confessions of a Medical Heretic. Robert Mendelsohn, Mendelsohn. And then How to Raise a Healthy Doctor, How to Raise a Healthy Child in Spite of Your Doctor. I read all this guy's books. And this first book might even be out of print. It looks like it's very old, but it's still here on Amazon. Don't take my word for it.
We might be seeing natural selection at work here. I tend to agree.
I don't pretend to be an expert, but I am a...
You are literally pretending to be an expert. This is a show where you come on and people ask for your advice and you give it as an expert. What? What do you mean you're not pretending to be an expert? You're giving medical advice. That's so stupid. Nick says, surprise, surprise, he was anti-vax. Oh, the guy that he's talking about? Speak the Truth with 45-bit says, my nephew was born via correction because whenever my sister pushed, his heart rate dropped to dangerous levels and her heartbeat rose to equally disastrous levels, or dangerous levels, rather. Vast Lunacy with 70-bit says, my grandmother has this same belief. Her sister died on the operating table for a stomach obstruction, and my grandmother swears that the doctors essentially made it up just to diagnose stuff. People have such weird coping mechanisms. It sucks so much.
I'm a concerned father.
Can you report this? If you want to, that's up to you.
I'm a concerned parent. I'm concerned about my wife. I'm concerned about our children. So what does someone who's concerned do? They consult. I consult these books. Colleen and I took natural childbirthing classes. You know that? We took Bradley classes, right? Bradley natural birthing classes. Bradley natural birthing classes, not Lamaze. Lamaze is a joke. Bradley natural birthing classes teach you everything about how to legitimately have that baby.
Does it teach you how to deal with it if your wife starts bleeding profusely and is dying? Do you have a blood supply and a way to close, like, wounds easily, Elliot? Do you know how to do that? If, like the chatter mentioned, your wife or the baby's heart rates go crazy, do you have any way of monitoring that? Or correcting it if something is going wrong? Kinda doubt it. Creepy Doll in the Wall says, as a person who came from a controlling cult and felt less than for having to give birth at a hospital when I was a teenager, fuck this guy. Catherine CD, thanks for 10 months. Tea with Goblins says, yes, by all means, be fearful and antagonistic towards trained medical professionals, or they'll try to, checks notes, give you pain relief during the agony of childbirth and administer vaccines that prevent deadly diseases. Solid logic.
At home, naturally. Lamaze just teaches you how to breathe so that you don't need drugs, which is good. That's one part of it. But ultimately, we got to go back to nature. We got to go back to the way things should always.
Nature sucks. I don't know if you know this. We invented inside because nature is an unforgiving bitch. Elliot, almost nothing humans do is natural. It doesn't fucking mean anything. Bloodwine says, look, babe, I know you want medical care, but if the doctor's here, then I'm not the alpha. I'm sure you understand.
Always were, right? Again, I don't want people to think, oh, Elliot is archaic and doesn't respect modern inventions. And
it's literally, that's what you're doing. You can't just do a thing and then say, I don't want you to say I'm doing thing. You are doing thing. You can't just lampshade it by going, no, I'm not doing thing, but thing. You're doing the thing.
And modern progress. No, that's not the case.
Stone Corbell says, Elliot, you'll never experience the pain of childbirth. You have no right to tell people giving birth that they shouldn't take pain meds. Agree?
Case at all. We have just made that our God. And as a result, we've fallen prey to all kinds of bad things, right? Like, just, it don't... Man, sometimes I'm not a smart man. I never. Man, sometimes I'm not a smart man. I never did well in school. I'm not a smart man. I never did well in school. Sometimes I'm not a smart man. I never did well in school. But I could just see certain things that people take for granted, and I'm like...
His name is Elliot Hulse. Elliot Hulse. He is he started his channel as, like... And this is something he actually knows about. Weightlifting. Basically teaching people how to do weight training, getting the most out of their workouts, bulking up, all sorts of stuff that I don't care about. But, he seems good at that. And then he started slowly but surely turning into this Chud conspiracy bullshit. So now not only does he tell people, like, how to get gains, but now this channel is mostly just him doing, like, culture, warrior, right-wing, weird shit. It's very strange.
I don't know. That just don't seem right to me, right? And then the whole idea, right? Just think about this. Babies will come down. I already did this, so I'm just kind of reiterating. The babies will come down. Why am I laying up?
Why do women give birth laying down? I need a site that's not like a creepy medical bullshit site, like a natural news thing. Moira Soma says, one of my friends was born with her umbilical cord wrapped around her throat. If she wasn't born at the hospital, she would be dead. It's a video. I don't want a whole thing. Oh, I just read that one. Sorry. To help keep their strength up. It's got to be a more specific reason than that. I don't know, though. I would assume that the doctors know better than Elliot.
Something don't add up. And what doesn't add...
Oh, yeah, epidurals, too. If you get, like, an epidural or something that completely blocks, like, your spinal feeling from the waist down, gonna be difficult to stand up.
Add up is that they don't have your best interest in mind, right? As soon as your baby comes out of the vagina, you know what they want to do? Whisk it away and give it all kinds of shots, put shit in its eyes.
Yeah, to make sure it doesn't get infections and shit, you weirdo.
Right? They do all kinds of weird things to your baby.
Weird things that help prevent your child from dying. You know what's very natural? High infant mortality rates, Elliot. Not everything that's natural is good. A bear mauling you to death is theoretically natural. It's not good.
You don't know anything about when they take the baby away. But what even a dog, even a cow, I have cows. You don't take the baby away from the mama right away. Right? Why do they do that to us?
Cows' lives are less valuable than human lives to humans.
Why is it that as soon as the baby comes out in the hospital, they whisk the baby away so the baby...
To make sure the baby is okay.
He has no bonding time with the mother. As soon as my baby...
And once they do the check and stuff, yeah, they usually do skin-to-skin contact stuff.
Came out, we laid it right on their mother's chest, and the baby start feeding right there. First thing the baby does is this. Right? And so as the baby's doing this, the mom is right there. Oh.
Are you supposed to feed your baby like seconds or minutes after they're born? Are there any actual doctors in chat?
To suckle. But you take that baby off and the baby's doing this, and all the baby sees is bright lights in its eyes, and some...
Bumble Homestead says, I do not like it when he makes that noise. KR Goss says, if your baby is born breathing and alert, then immediately give the baby to mom now. I think this was in the 1980s that he's thinking of.
Some stranger jabbing it with needles. It's like, what the fuck what kind of introduction to life is this? That's why so many people are traumatized. People are traumatized because of that birth experience, right? And the whole C-section thing. Do you know that 90% of C-sections are not necessary? But they're profitable.
Where is that statistic coming from, Elliot? Tea with Goblin says, okay, last birth story. My sister was born in a very rare way when my mom waters didn't break, so she was born in the placenta and the nurse had to break her up like a packet of chips. They used to call it being born in the caul. And in the old days, it was a sign that the baby was a witch.
Right? They want to cut your wife open. You go to the hospital, they want to cut your wife open ASAP. That's the first thing on their mind is...
No, it is not, Elliot. Again, why do you think hospitals pay doctors to, like, upsell you? That's not how this works. They don't get a commission.
How quickly can we get this woman to buy our surgery, to buy our technique? Right? Sure, there's medical techniques, but I don't have to buy every single one. I don't have to be a customer for everything. But the medical industry makes it such that they make you think that you need their stuff. No, I don't need your stuff. Why do I need your stuff? Why do I need you to help me do something natural? Right? This is a natural thing. This is a normal thing. This has happened since day one. Jesus was born in the manger, right?
I'm just putting this out there. In Norse mythology, Loki gives birth because he turns into a horse or something and gets fucked by a horse. Does that make getting fucked by a horse natural because it happened in someone's mythology? Like, what? What is this standard? Let's look at the infant mortality rate in Jerusalem in 1 BC or AD. Hi, Trey. Sky Comet Fallen says, "Psst, your problem is capitalism."
He didn't need a surgeon there, right? Mary didn't need a surgeon there.
Yeah, didn't Zeus turn into a goose and fuck a lady? Should ladies be fucking geese to try and get pregnant now?
Cut her belly open just in case, right? Anyway, so I'm just kind of in a ranting mood here. My opinion is, don't let this stop you from having more children, but educate yourself. The problem with people today is that they don't know, right? Didn't God say something to the effect of, my people suffer for they do not know? People suffer because they don't know. And part of the reason they don't know is because we live in a brainwashed culture, right? And they've been teaching us all kinds of wrong think for the past, 6 generations.
Arbitrary number he pulled out of his asshole. Narnandi Owl says, and Odin just used Loki's son as his personal mount. Rosalind Faye says, a swan, and it was his sister, future wife. Lovely. Isn't mythology great?
Not only do we have common sense, not only can we think, right? Something don't look right. Trust yourself when something don't look right, but we live in the age of information. If something don't seem right, go and do some research. People will do all kinds of research about dumb stuff. I'm going to buy a new car. I know people that will spend money.
Oh, sorry, Sky Comet Fallen. Sky Comet Fallen said, no, I read that one.
Months researching cars. What kind of engine they want, what kind of transmission, all kinds of aerodynamics, and then they do all the extras.
If I didn't want to do that research or was incapable of doing it, you know who I would go ask? Someone who has spent their whole life studying that, like a mechanic. Just like I would take someone to a doctor if they were giving birth.
List for a car. But you get your wife pregnant and you just say, well, okay. I'll see you at the hospital. What? Learn the things that are important. We spend so much time learning dumb stuff. How about back to nature, learning how to do things that our ancestors always knew how to do, right? Give birth. I was reading about, I think it was a book called Wrath of Grapes or something like that. Grapes of Wrath.
The Grapes of Wrath.
I don't remember who the author was. It was like a classic book. It was about a Chinese couple that were living on the land somewhere. And in the story, I was so shocked. I read this when I was like in my early 20s. The woman was, she was out working in the field, right? Like the ox was pulling the plow and she was like riding the plow or something. And she was pregnant. She was like 9 months pregnant. And it was John Steinbeck. I don't know if it was Grapes of Wrath, Lucas, but it was John Steinbeck, one of his books.
Elliot, you're not supposed to look at her having to labor intensely at 9 months pregnant and go, good for her, what a boss babe. How do you so fundamentally miss the point? The point didn't even go over his head. Its trajectory was entirely in the opposite direction of him.
It might have been Grapes of Wrath. And there was a scene in the book where the woman's, she's working. Right? She got to do work. You got to work. And
You're not supposed to think this is reasonable! Tucker White says, back to nature. Is this the beginning of Elliot's anarcho-primitivist arc?
And she squats down. The baby comes out. She cleans off the baby, wraps her up, boom, boom. And that's it. I think she may even went back to work.
That's supposed to be a bad thing, Elliot! Holy fucking shit! How do you miss the point of a book so hard? Nernandia Owl says, Hulse, we live at a time where you can find all the information you need. Also, Hulse, I'm really stupid and proud of it. Mike Mack says, if we go back to nature, you'll be out of the job, Elliot. Tea with Goblin says, okay, Elliot, but until very recently, women died in droves giving birth. During the Victorian era, it was common for pregnant women to sew their burial gowns before their due dates. Excuse me, because they knew that there was a decent chance they wouldn't survive giving birth. Modern medicine is a good thing. Agreed.
Right? But, or Mice and Men. I don't know, but I just remember reading a book like that. But
Of Mice and Men is a... whatever.
She was just going about her life like it was a normal thing. It was a normal thing. She didn't need the ambulance. She didn't need...
This would be like reading 1984 and being like, man, Big Brother's great, isn't it? This man fundamentally didn't understand the main point of a book he apparently read the entirety of.
10 doctors around her and someone with a scalpel ready to cut her open. She just knew what to do. She just squatted down and gave birth to that baby. Right? I know there are going to be people like, Elliot, you don't know anything about being a woman. You have no interest saying that. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about women and I have no place saying that. But then why do you go to a male-dominated profession, right?
This isn't necessarily about your gender or sex or anything, Elliot. I'm more just concerned that you're not a doctor. Nick says, not gonna lie, Elliot Hulse is low-key one of the most evil chuds we cover. His lack of influence, relatively speaking, I don't know. His videos don't get nearly as many views as a lot of the other people we cover, so I don't know if I agree.
All these men. That's why the book is called Male Practice, I told you. Why? This is so funny. Women were so quick to tell a man who has his wife or his friend's best interest in mind about, you know, something with regard to women. You have no right saying that. But the first thing they're going to do is go to a hospital. There's what? It's all men. It's all men that look at you like a customer. How much?
Again, the doctors don't get commission, Elliot. That's not how it works. Hydrate. H-Baird. Spoiler alert, the baby in Grapes of Wrath was stillborn and the mother uses her breast milk to try to save a man dying of starvation. No, but as far as Elliot's concerned, that's all natural, so it's great. Thanks, John Steinbeck. Clearly, John Steinbeck was writing about aspirational living, right? When he wrote Grapes of Wrath. Sky Comet Fallen says, Elliot, my OBGYN is a woman.
Can we charge the insurance company for all this? Right? How quickly can we get her onto the chopping block? The name of the book, some of you guys are asking me, is Male Practice. M-A-L-E. You see that? M-A-L-E Practice. How Doctors Manipulate Women. Old book by Dr. Robert.
That's funny too, because I'm pretty sure OBGYN departments are one section of the medical field that is dominated by women. Like, people who specialize in OBGYN are more likely women than not, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look up that stat, but... Tucker White says, let's be fair, Hannah, understanding a book requires something Americans hate doing. Reading.
Mendelsohn, MD. So, you know, that's one good place to begin. And you can go down the rabbit hole from there, dude. Hope that helps. Done.
Yo, it's your bro, Elliot. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did...
God, Elliot is just the worst. It's so weird, too, because at the end of the day, that's not hurting me. It's hurting him and his audience. He is actively selecting out his audience on a small scale from the population with this advice. This, like, cult of stupidity and I know better than experts is... It's like a suicide cult. It's nuts. Anyway, let's move on. Annie Kai says, you didn't even have the book right. The book people read in school about Chinese people is The Good Earl, written Pearls S. Buck. It does have a scene where a woman goes back to work shortly after giving birth because they are poor. Sidosaurus says, I hated Gripes of Wrath. I thought it was one of the most boring-ass book I was ever required to read. I made a video after reading Fahrenheit 451, and I implied heavily that I burnt that book. Mike says, Scrubs is more medically correct than this dumbass. Who we gonna cover now? What's vegan teacher up to? We haven't covered her in a bit. Someone called her out on something. I don't know what it is, and she's gonna rebut. I always like when vegan teacher gets called out on anything, even if it's something stupid that I don't necessarily agree with calling her out on. Just because she overreacts, usually, and I'm hoping it's the case here.
Hello, students! Welcome to class! Yeah, I have a haircut. I talked about it in the last video. We're not going to talk about it some more. Okay, we can talk about it if you want to. I was noticing that the drain in my tub was getting, like, full of hair. And even though my hair is short in that video, if you actually take a hair, it's actually as long as, like, from here all the way down to there. So that's, like, that long. Even though I had short hair, I had all these long hairs and they were all getting stuck in the drain. I'd be in there like...
That's how hair works. Does she not understand that the hair that goes down here is also connected to the top of your head? Does she think hair is coming out of right here? I'm confused. Was it a vegan haircut?
Pull out this disgusting mess. So I thought to myself, okay, I should get it layered so that each hair is a little bit shorter. See? Shorter. Anyway, that's that. All right, so today we are looking at... She admits it! That vegan teacher caught in 1080p.
Can we do a whole video about her haircut? It's less annoying than her. I don't think I'd have a lot to say. I do think her haircut looks nice, though, honestly. Completely divorced from who she is as a person. I think the layers look better than what she had going on before. It's a little less Karen-y. A little.
I have no idea what that means. I keep hearing that expression everywhere. Caught in 1080p. Can somebody explain to me down below? I mean, I guess I could have Googled it if I wanted to. I guess I don't really care. Basically, you're trying to say that I was caught. That vegan teacher was caught. She admits it. She admits that she is attacking people who are racists, murderers, people who are cruel. Yeah? Yeah, I admit it.
Play the video.
Don't you attack people who are cruel? Don't you attack racists? Don't you attack people who are homophobic, mean to people, or any...
You've said incredibly homophobic things, vegan teacher. You've said racist things. You've literally gotten banned off TikTok for using the N-word before. What?
Sentient beings for no fucking reason? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you're going to be vegan very soon. I was going to say, I have my hopes up. But, you know, my husband says that my problem is that I am optimistic to a fault. Because every time there's somebody new that I'm...
Was it optimistic when you said you didn't give a shit about all the people who died in 9/11 because they ate meat? Because that doesn't sound optimistic. It just kind of makes it sound like you're a misanthrope.
I'm talking to him like, oh, maybe this person will be vegan. Naively, I thought, you know, if I talk to Sniper Wolf and I talk...
Yeah, she's married.
Talk to her about how she should be vegan, she should stop promoting all these dead bodies on her channel and just say, hey, to her audience, let's try to be a little more vegan. Let's try some vegan foods and let's not promote any death on my channel.
It would probably be more effective. You'd get people who watch you because they like you more instead of just finding you annoying. And again, I've said this many times. I think veganism's great. I think it's awesome. I think advocating for veganism, it's a cool cause. I'm not a vegan. My fiance is, and I think that's awesome. That's great. But, like, that vegan teacher is shit at promoting veganism, and she just makes other vegans look bad by association, and that makes me upset. I wish she would stop. Cidosaurus says, I get pissed off every time I watch her. Maybe it's because of her accusatory tone, or maybe it's her histrionic ramblings and false equivalencies, but I'm just sitting here yelling, stop being a C-word at my computer. Yeah.
I naively thought if I just talked to her nicely, she would do that. But what a shocker. Call me Chris, there's another one. You know, this sweet Canadian person, you know, Canadians are supposed to be nice. Well, apparently that's all bullshit, especially considering I'm Canadian and I'm not nice. Well, at least you don't think so. But the animals, they love me. They know I'm nice. Because there's a difference between being nice and...
Do they? Like, if you go out in the woods and you see a deer, do they come up to you and go, oh, yes, vegan teacher, you're not Snow White. It's not how this works.
Polite. I might not be very polite with people because I tell them straight to their face that they're an animal abuser. But I'm nice. I'm kind because I care about the bottom line, about saving them from so much hell and torture. Anyway, I thought that I would be, you know, nice to people like Mr. Beast and Gordon Ramsay at first, you know, saying to them, hey, you got things a bit mixed up. When I was back on TikTok there with my account that had almost 2 million followers, and I said, you know, I think you're getting mixed up. I think you're mixing up animals and food. I had this nice 60-second speech.
It's almost like you were incredibly condescending and acted like people don't know that veganism or vegetarianism exists, so you didn't come at them rhetorically on their own level whatsoever and just acted like a holier-than-thou asshole. Crazy. Tea with Goblin says, I just can't imagine how she treats her family. Didn't she say that she wouldn't donate a kidney of her own child if they weren't vegan? I think so. I'm not positive, though. Auntie Pretzel says, you torture your dog by forcing it to be vegan, which dogs can't be because they're obligate carnivores. That I don't think is true. I think dogs can eat non-meat things. Cats are obligate carnivores. You don't get a stool to stand on, Mrs. I don't know if that's her last name, but I'm not going to say it just in case. Felicia Angel says, wasn't she supposed to be replying to a video? Yeah. Dogs are omnivores. Yeah.
You know, what did he do? He paid for a dead animal.
For the record, I still don't think you should make your dogs vegan. They like meat. They can't make that decision for themselves.
Animal to be murdered. He paid for an animal to be murdered, and then he ate it. And then he made a point of saying, this is not vegan. Like, what a fucking asshole. Anyway, you know, between all of these people, who else do we got? Darman, you know, who makes these wonderful videos. You would think that of all people, Darman would say, hey, that vegan teacher, you know, you're right, I'm going to try.
Get to the video you're trying to cover, Jesus.
He's smart. He's sort of like weighing things out with the water that he put before on him. Again, dark-skinned people are lactose intolerant, and people at schools give them free milk to everyone. That's racist in and of itself. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. But here...
Oh boy, Nick says, no, Katie, he paid for the animal then, that was already dead. Do we need to go back and listen to that rant? Do we? I don't know.
He's saying in this...
I'm just gonna move on. We get it.
This 20-second video. She admits it! Like, so what am I supposedly admitting? Oh my god, now what did I do? I screwed up the whole thing. Okay, let's see if I can get this back on track. Okay, here we are. It's gonna be kind of small, guys, but let's watch. He thinks I attack non-vegans, and he is absolutely right. Wait, why didn't you empty those? Okay. Excuse me. He thinks that I attack non-vegans, and he is absolutely right. Okay, yeah, I admit it. Admit it. He should have emptied those, because I attack all non-vegans. I attack all non-vegans. Why is this a surprise to anyone? Why does this need to have a 21-second video about it? Of course I attack people who attack others. Of course I stand up to the bullies. People are racist towards animals all the time.
You can't be racist towards animals. Animals is not a race. That's not how this works.
And if you think that racism is wrong, then look into the mirror and see if you are truly racist or anti-racist. Now you might say to yourself, oh, you can't be racist towards animals because they're not humans.
Correct.
And
oh god, if I am afraid of what I think she's about to say, and it's not good, Felicia Angel with 100 bits says, why can't she be quiet for 22 seconds?
And I invite you to tell me what is the fucking difference.
Okay, that's better than I thought she was gonna say. Okay, Katie. Humans have sapience, okay? We have sapience and humans have in-group preference, okay? So, like, humans and our interspecies social dynamics are a different construct than our interactions with non-human animals. Everyone basically intuitively understands this, and I don't know why you don't. If you disagree with what I am saying, at least in the sense that you don't think that's how it should be, despite the fact that that is how it is, then you need to meet the argument at that level and not just pretend that's not how people already see it. People do not relate directly our feelings about, like, different races or whatever bullshit thing you want to talk about to how we view non-human animals. Because comparing... How do I put this? Comparing different, air quote, races of humans to literally animals is really fucking racist in and of itself. You get that, right? You see the problem with that? There's a big problem with that. It's the racism.
Whether you have wings, or you have claws, you have fur, you have feathers, you have skin that's like this, you have black skin, white skin, purple skin, I don't care who the heck you are. Don't be prejudiced against another group just because they are different than you. Look at their behavior and what they do. What did a chicken ever do to you? What did a pig ever do to you? What did a lamb ever do to you?
A lamb once called me the F slur. True story. Don't look that up. Definitely true.
What did a little bee ever do to you that
stung me? I was on a trampoline at Kevin's house in middle school. We were on the trampoline and it fucking stung me and it swelled up. Fuck that bee. I'm gonna take all of its honey for the rest of my life.
makes you, who are how many times, 1,000,000 times bigger than a bee, you decide you're gonna go in there and steal their...
Nick says, what did they do to me? They nourished me and made me live longer so I could suffer more of your incessant arrogance.
Honey, the one thing...
That wasn't Kevin's fault. That was not Kevin's fault. We were in the trampoline because this was when we were both really into the Rocky movies. I had watched them, and I like the Rocky movies, and I still do. And I had gotten him to watch the Rocky movies, and I had bought, or rather, I had had my parents buy a set of boxing gloves and, like, protective headgear from eBay. So we were in the trampoline boxing each other, and then I got stung by a bee when I took my boxing glove off. Fucking bee. Bittergrin says, hey, the bees can go build a new hive whenever they want. They're okay with paying rent. Yep.
Thing they've worked their whole life for. Stop being racist towards animals. Stop picking on them. Speciesism is the first form of racism. That is where it starts. When you are really little.
Bumble Homestead says, round 1, bee. True.
And some ignorant teacher doesn't yell at you because you're stepping on ants. If you're a teacher and you see people kids in the schoolyard stepping on ants just for the hell of it, you should be giving them shit and sending them home. It's animal abuse. There should be no animals also in the classroom trapped in there unless these are rescued animals that are not bought from some pet store. Okay, I don't know. How did I end up?
Do I think she loves the Bee movie? Probably not, because in the end it's decided that the symbiotic relationship between humans and bees is actually a good thing, which I think she would find bad.
In another video.
Also, she hates jazz.
Here. Oh my god. Anyway, you guys get the idea.
Thinks I attack non-vegans, and he is absolutely right. Wait, why didn't you empty those?
Randy Owl says, so that's how she got fired from being an actual teacher, right? Maybe.
He should have emptied.
Guys, I'm making a joke because in B movie, he says, do you like jazz? I'm making a joke.
Those, because I attack all non-vegans. You could be fat, skinny, black, white, you could be...
There you go. I said it. It doesn't need its own video. Of course I admit it.
Be Asian, you could be a woman, a man, a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor. If you are not vegan, I will come after you.
Is she dancing to words she is speaking? Not even a song? Okay. Exo Deadlock, thanks for 5 months, says, plants are also species. Her boundaries are as arbitrary as any non-vegan.
There you go. You heard it there. Okay. So, by the way, if you're not following this guy, Eyeball Right Celebs, maybe you could consider doing so. Keep an eye on him.
Yikes.
Check him out. You know, adjust your glasses and look closer. Look him up and down and say, hey, that vegan teacher is hoping that you're going to be vegan. So, Eyeball, what is your name, by the way? What's your name? Fred? Barney? George? What is your name? I don't want to call you Eyeball. It seems so weird. I guess I could Google it.
You go by that vegan teacher. What? People go by screen names all the time. H-Baird says, 2 Bs or not 2 Bs? That is the question. Whether it's nobler in the mind to suffer the prattle of an outrageous vegan or to take arms against a sea of annoying and by hitting next, end them. That's pretty good.
Anyway, listen. Do a nice video about that vegan teacher, okay? Do another one about me and you know, I don't know what you should do. Just say something. Just say, hi, vegan teacher. How are you? I'm trying to be vegan from now on. Oh my God. I would lose it. I would be so happy. Okay, don't be a jerk and start eating chicken in front of me and showing me how racist
Does that happen often?
you are towards animals. Show me.
Kippy says she looks like she would complain that square dancing is difficult.
That you are against racism. That you don't believe that animals should be enslaved. Are you against slavery?
She's asking that to a guy who's black. Katie. This is exhausting.
And assume you are. Because slavery is wrong. Are you against prejudice? I'm going to assume you are. So
prejudice?
Be morally consistent. Make a beautiful video showing me that you are eating anything that's vegan. Okay, go and Google, for example, vegan marshmallows. Okay, and go and buy some. There's a brand called Dandies. And just show yourself eating some Dandies.
I've had vegan marshmallows, they're good.
Go and get yourself a vegan pizza and show yourself eating the vegan pizza.
Vegan cheese needs a lot of improvements before I do that.
And if for some reason you don't like that vegan pizza, don't make a freaking video showing how you don't like it. Find one that you do like. Go and order some Beyond Burgers or go and get some. Make those.
They're
and if you
good.
don't want to eat processed foods, then just show yourself eating a delicious bowl of pasta. Rice. A lentil chili. Okay? I need some help here on this channel. Jim, or whatever your name is, Bob. What is your name? Peter? I don't know. What is his name? Mike? Mark? What a popular name.
Oh yeah, she's incredibly poverty blind. She never takes into account people's own budgetary and time restrictions involved in meal prep whatsoever.
You know, anyways, I don't know. Kevin, George, I already said that.
Garo the Khajiit says, you're not a real teacher. I'm not accepting homework assignments from you.
I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Water Bottle Guy, okay? Water is vegan. Yay! You're starting out so well. I'm so proud of you and I want to keep liking you. Don't make me hate you. I don't want to have to put you up there in my list of Call Me Chris and Sniper Wolf and Gordon Ramsays and all of these horrible people who are animal abusers. Come on, man. Come on. Be on my side. I need somebody, anybody from the internet who I've gone after and said, you are a racist. You are cruel to the animals. You need to stop and be vegan from now on. I need one of you guys, any of you guys, to come over to my side.
You ever get a teacher who's like, everyone has failed my class. Why are you all such bad students? Not realizing that if everyone fails your class, they're not bad students. You're a bad teacher. It's almost like you're not convincing at all and just alienate people from the very cause that you claim to try and champion. Randy Owl says, are you still sure about that, teacher? You know animals shit into the water and fish live there.
Okay, we're going to work so well together. It's going to be so fun. Okay? Okay. Oh, I got an idea. How about with your H2O, you have... Oh, I know. You can make a vegetable soup. Yes. Okay, that's it. Okay, look. You get one of those, those plug-in things that you can cook with, or you can go to your kitchen if you want. Okay, and then you have a pot of boiling water, right? And instead of adding water to your thing, you start adding vegetables. And you say, this is, we're making the vegan teacher happy, or we're going to show what's inside the vegan teacher. And then you show like a few carrots, bloop, and you feel like, a little bit, a Brussels sprout in there. And just like buy 30 different kinds of vegan foods. I'm always telling people they should eat 30 kinds of vegan foods, right? So make a nice YouTube video showing all of the ingredients that go into that vegan teacher. I don't care. Make it funny, actually. Oh yeah, you can make it super funny. Okay, you can have oats, right? Nobody usually puts oats into a soup, but why not? What's the difference between oats in a soup or like barley, right? So take a few oats and go plop and put those in the soup because they're vegan, right? Then do anything else. Take a piece of toast and put it in the soup. Take a slice of banana and put in there.
Comedy? This is peak comedy. You don't normally put bread in soup. Except when you have a soup that's, a dipping soup. Then it's not a joke.
I don't care. Just make a fun vegan soup and have it boiling. And then show yourself eating it or drinking a nice cup of it. And just be like, this is delicious. And then say, way to go, vegan teacher, for trying so hard to protect the animals from the horrific Holocaust that's going on right now.
My favorite soup is chicken and dumpling soup. Tomato bisque is also up there. Someone send me a delicious tomato bisque. And a grilled cheese.
Why do I feel like crying?
Same.
I know. Because I get my hopes up that some of you are going to be decent people.
Minestrone is also pretty good.
And it's so sad when you're not. But anyway, maybe you're different. Maybe you're different. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. Click on them, be curious, follow that vegan teacher site, subscribe to this channel, subscribe, and press the notification bell. Help me get the animals out of hell. And if you don't believe what goes on here, please watch this documentary. Okay, you type the whole thing in. You type in watchdominion.com, the whole thing. Okay, don't just type in dominion.com, type watchdominion.com. Please watch it so you know why.
I've seen it. Eris Malal says, I like how she doesn't want people to agree with her because she thinks it's the right thing to do, but because it would validate her.
I am here. Please don't just...
She makes it all about her?
Comment below and just write some bullshit like everyone else does. Watch what happens to every single animal on this planet. And open your heart. You know where to start. You're at the right place. It takes 100 clicks to become vegan. You gotta get the message into your head. You gotta get it into your heart for the animals. We are here to protect the animals.
It's so weird, because she basically just makes the same video every single day. It's the same exact video. She just says the same things. Oh god, she did another one that's like all LGBT people should be vegan.
Pallets were raped when we were young and you shoved death on our plates. If we'd have known the violence this came from, we'd have said no way I'm consenting to that, 'cause I know right from wrong.
Felicia Angel Michael with 100 bits says, just for fun and 'cause reasons, all the tomato bisque and good soups for you.
Oppression, why the fuck aren't you vegan yet?
You should strive to be vegan. If you don't like oppression, don't oppress others. Be vegan from now on. After all, you were born vegan. If you're not vegan, you can write.
Alright, so that's what she's up to. Let's move on. Did they ever release the third part of that Samir thing? No, still no. That's a shame. How about this guy bitching about how much he dislikes the Christmas Story movie, and it gets off the rails real quick. I genuinely can't tell if this channel is satire or not. If it's satire, it's pretty spot on from what I've seen from other right-wing chuds.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Film Zone 3.0. There's a movie slob inside of you. Let him out and he'll review any movie you want him to. Here comes the new Film Zone 3.0.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. Hey everybody. It's been a long time. Sorry about that. That's fun good. This is a special occasion because it's Christmas time, which I fucking hate. But I thought I'd pull out the big guns, old school style, and talk about something. This is not going to be a normal review, but since you saw the title and stuff, you know what I'm going to talk about. And it's basically why I hate Christmas, and more specifically, the reason I hate Christmas. Everyone knows.
Is this guy the guy whose Spider-Man review went off the rails? Yeah. And is this Dave's cousin? That's the thing. If this is a satire of people like Dave, it's such a good satire, but I genuinely can't tell if it's making fun of this kind of thing or if it just is this, you know, bearded, reverse cap dude bro bitching about things and drinking out of a 2-liter of Diet Coke. Like, it's so perfect.
I hate it, but no one knows why. And the real reason is because of this movie, Christmas Story. For once, which I don't usually like to do in this channel, get a little personal. Okay, we get a little personal. I'm gonna tell some stuff more than just movie stuff. But there's just something about Christmas that rubs me the wrong way. And it has to do with this movie. And another big thing, stay till the end because you're going to hear the biggest reveal of why I hate Christmas so much. There's probably 10,000 reviews online by fucking loser nerds talking about Christmas Story. And how it's the greatest movie of all time. And I'm gonna just go out here and say this, okay? Like, I usually talk about worst movies ever. Christmas Story is one of the worst movies ever, but what I hate more than the movie is the people that love it. Okay, that's my big beef. Like, the movie obviously sucks. Everyone knows that.
If you don't like the Christmas Story movie, that's fine. It's pretty casual Christmas viewing. It meanders. I can't say I've put it on in a really long time and actually sat and watched it. I've certainly had it on in the background before, but it's not really the kind of movie you have to pay attention to. I don't know if I'd say it's a good movie, but for a lot of people it's a nostalgic movie. It's certainly a competently made film. It's just, you know, it's not very substantive. But for what it is, it's fine, I guess.
But my bigger point is the people that watch it are the worst. And they're worse than Nintendo fans. They're worse than Christopher Nolan fans. Christmas people, and especially Christmas Story fans. There's just nothing lower than that on the planet Earth. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details of why Christmas Story is honestly one of the worst movies ever made and the single-handed reason thing why I hate Christmas, we got to get into a little bit of the backstory, history stuff of Christmas things, and especially with my family and stuff. But, you know, I always talk about on this channel, my uncle is one of the only people, the only person that went to college in my whole extended family. You know, he went for political science stuff in the 60s. He knows all kinds of crazy statistics and stuff and truth and law stuff and things like that. But, you know, I always like to preface with, he's the most racist human being I've ever met. Just letting you guys know. He doesn't hate black people. The word hate is not strong enough for what he feels about them. So, in a nutshell, this is his favorite movie, and a lot of people's favorite movie. It's not coincidence. He's a fat, old, cracker, bald, fucking worthless white man. Like, and you know, I don't see color or nothing like that. I don't like to play race cards, but he does know a lot of stuff that's kind of facts and based in things, and he's explained all kinds of stuff to me. But what he says is, people like me that hate Christmas, they usually hate the whole package, right? The whole thing. Everything at Christmas time is horrible. The music's horrible. The food, especially the movies. The movies are the worst. TV, all that stuff. Everything gets worse. And people turn into like zombies and stuff. But what my uncle explained to me was, that you guys are going to like this because you probably don't know this, but Christmas being like this big train wreck, this big clusterfuck of misery and torture was not an accident. Okay, there's like a design to all this, and he's told me this every Christmas and stuff. What happens every Christmas? The first thing that would happen is my uncle would always get drunk and get me in a corner and then get in my face and ask me all the pussy that I've been smashing. And it's hard for him to understand because I'm 44 and I'm also a virgin. I've never smashed pussy, but he always wanted to know, and he's always drunk in my face, just like, how's the young pussy looking and stuff.
Gotta be satire.
Like that. And that always kind of bothered me, but I just go along, you know, I pretend like, yeah, it's nice. It's real good, Uncle. Smashing it hard and stuff, and then he'd talk about all his glory days, whatever. But the one thing I learned about politics stuff and Christmas stuff and the design of Christmas and why it's bad on purpose. It's on purpose. It's not an accident. Is that he says there's this goggle of Jews. I don't know what a goggle is. He said a goggle of Jews that control everything. They literally they designed Christmas to be bad on purpose so that it would turn Christians against each other and make them test their own faith or something. It's some Jew plot to get Christians to hate themselves because
Are we sure this guy isn't Call?
they set these unrealistic expectations that no human being can live up to, and so you hate yourself. It's because the Jews set it up that way. That's what my uncle says. I'm not saying this. There's some truth to that, though, I think, on some level, right? And that kind of ties into, I don't know what this is or anything, but it's something to do with, like, that's very similar kind of sabotage to, like, when Trump was running against Clinton, they said that all these Russians were using Facebook to, like, make her lose and influence people.
Very strange, probable satire shit. Pretty good at making fun of people like Dave, though. Just saying. Alright, what are we doing next? Cleanse. Let's see what the cleanse is. Oh, this looks anime. I don't care about anime, so no, I'm not watching that. Brockgum says, huh? Overthought says, the fact that Coke bottles sat open the whole time while he talked was the most unsettling thing. What could we watch as a cleanse? Guess I have a cleanse folder. I should probably use it, huh? Mike Max with a link for a cleanse.
Not only just self-sacrifice on display, but sacrificing future generations as well. Obviously going all out for his team, saving the ball right here, but also losing 2 on the play, putting his balls on the line. Let us have a moment of silence for this man's fallen brothers.
Ooh! Yeah, that probably hurt. Sausage. Someone wants a sausage cleanse.
Alright, I got a prediction. This sausage is gonna taste like hot mustard. YouTube comment suggestions. Run, Shadowfax. Oh, mama. There's only one possible score that this can get. 5 Mark Ruffalo's! With sausage.
Hydrate.
Oh no! Oh, shoot! It won't stop. It's still good. It's still good. Here we go. There's no chewing through that skin. Well, what more can be said about this sausage? You can't chew through the skin. It squirts at you when you bite it, and it tastes like hot mustard. 0 out of 5.
Bop, 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 bop.
I love that man. I really do. Let's see what Tate's been up to. We haven't covered Tate in a while. He's mostly been boring. So I don't know. Let's see what he's talking about here. The title of this video is Why Free Thought is Crushed. This video was filmed in the gym. The sound is bad. It echoes. Get over it and listen carefully. Or, consider this. Film your videos in more appropriate locations with less echo, because it's your job. Procagom says, I hope Sausage Guy has all the joys life can offer. And Tea with Goblins says, sorry if this is slightly off topic, but it may amuse you to know that a bunch of sad Aussie anti-vaxxers and sovereign citizens are trying to imitate the Canadian truck convoy. They're all arriving in Canberra this afternoon, and they are as organized and coherent as you can imagine. The best part is that they fundraised about $200,000 for a grand total of 3 trucks. It's so sad, and I'm so entertained.
So recently I was banned from Twitter. Not only was I banned from Twitter, I was nuked.
Finally! I wondered why that took so long. He had been banned prior on a personal account with his name, but then he started a new account with, like, his business name or something like that, and that lasted for a while. Guess it got banned.
Me, Tristan, Luke. They even got Luke.
Yeah.
Luke doesn't do anything. Collateral damage. My business accounts, everything got deleted. Because I came back verified. Such a long story. Some guy ran his mouth, had to send dudes to his house. Thought he was safe because he's in LA, like I'm an international fucking operator.
Did he just admit to committing crimes and hiring mercenaries to go and harm someone across the world? Because that's crime. Don't admit to crime.
Got a few screenshots with a bit of context for you.
He's literally just posting evidence of hiring hitmen! Was he publicly hiring a hitman? On Twitter? What?
That plus being verified for the second time on my 11th account, all of which had been banned, pissed Twitter off. It annoyed Twitter so much, I ended up in the Independent. I ended up in the news for being back on Twitter when I'm not supposed to. That's how much Twitter, the platform, makes me. But one of the most upsetting things about getting banned is, because whatever, you know, like I get banned, and...
Why can you hear the guy filming breathing so loud? Is his fucking face right next to the mic? Every once in a while you just hear It's so annoying.
I stole Scott Adams' wife. The guy who wrote Dilbert, Scott Adams. He's super pro-vaccine, like a coward, so I had to steal his wife right in front of him.
I saw Scott Adams today, running his mouth. I had to buy a mask at the airport. You were Mr. Doomsday at the beginning of this shit, you fucking pussy.
Wait, is Andrew Tate beefing with the Dilbert comic strip guy now?
So many amazing things happened on my Twitter account. I lost them all. But my life's going to continue to be amazing, so it doesn't matter, because there's going to be more amazing things. But I had one account called Young Kings, which is one of my business accounts that they deleted. It was a bit of a shame, because I think that the knowledge on there, I mean, all of my knowledge is valuable, but I wasn't even really flexing. I wasn't stealing no one's wife. There was no Bugatti. I didn't send any mobsters to anyone's doors on that account. It just got caught up in the collateral damage.
Excuse me, Twitter, Your Honor. I sent thugs to go beat him mercilessly on the other account I have on your website. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to ban me on my other account for that. You shouldn't be banned from Twitter. You should be in jail awaiting trial, you psycho.
And I've got some of the tweets still saved here, so I'm going to read a few of them with you. I've still got the Young Kings Instagram account, which is below here. You can see some of the information there on Young Kings, and I really recommend it. I made this for all young men. So if you have a son, or if there's a young guy you know, or if you're a young guy yourself, this is the knowledge that you're only going to learn the hard way. And even after I tell you, you're still not going to implement it, because you don't learn anything unless it's learned the hard way. But at least if I tell you in advance when it happens, you can be like, oh yeah, I should have listened. So I'll tell you a few of them I found here. Young Kings, how good are you on your worst day? Are you good enough?
He talks about going to this guy's house on this other dude's podcast. Oh, Lord.
This shit is big time!
A liberal guy. I can't, for some reason his name has escaped my mind, but if you look up banter teacher, he was an English teacher who banned the word banter. What? Splintered, and it cut him.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a crime.
On your worst day to beat your opponent on their best day. This is the key to unlimited success. This was said to me by my kickboxing coach. He said, we have to train like you're going to fight on your worst day. You might have a cold, might have COVID, might fucking...
You shouldn't be fighting if you have COVID. Not good for you or the person you're fighting. Elminato says, this is double jeopardy. You can't ban him twice for the same crime.
Broke up with...
I love that. Was it a Sandra Bullock movie called Double Jeopardy? And the premise was like, her husband faked his death and made it look like she murdered him and she went to jail for it. But then she found out he faked his death, so she's like, double jeopardy. You can't be convicted for the same crime twice. So now I'm going to kill my husband and they can't convict me. Ashley Judd? Okay, it's Ashley Judd. My bad. And it's like, that's not how that works. Like, if you get convicted for robbing a convenience store, if you go back and rob the same convenience store, it's a separate crime. If you kill your husband under a different set of circumstances than you initially were thought to have killed him, that's a different crime you're being charged for. Whatever. I think, oh god, what's his name? Something Jones is his name? He was fine with it in the movie.
The bitch, car might have broke down, bad night's sleep, who knows? And he might have everything going right.
Tommy Lee Jones, that's who I'm thinking of.
Could be a fucking perfect day for him. It's been the best week of his life. If you get knocked out, are people going to start talking about, oh yeah, he got knocked out, but you know it was his worst day, and the other guy's best? Are they just going to say you lost? No room for excuses. You got to train that way. So people often talk about their personal best or the best I can do. If the best you can lift is 200 kilo on like a one-off sometimes, don't say you can lift 200 kilo. You can't lift 200 kilo. You can lift 150 kilo every single time on your worst day. That's where your real performance level is, your worst day. Keep that in mind. Young Kings, too many of you value money as if money will save you from yourself. Every single one of you reading this should be focusing entirely on changing who you are as a man. You are where you deserve to be, and no amount of money will change who you are. I think I've told this story before. I've told it on a few podcasts. Anyone who watches my podcasts will know. I've said this loads of times. Money is an amplifier. You don't watch this channel because I'm rich.
People absolutely watch this channel because you're rich if there's someone who watches it unironically, or if you're someone like me or my chat, we watch you because you're hilarious. That's about it.
Watch this channel because not only am I rich and I made it all myself, which is unique, but I'm the big G. I was the big G before I was rich. Now the money amplifies.
Trying to figure out what his tattoo is of. Just looks like a big blob.
Right? I was a street dog. Now I got much money, my teeth are bigger. But if I never had any teeth, money ain't gonna change anything. I use this analogy all the time. If you see a Lambo pull up and a dork gets out, you're gonna think he's some super fucking crypto tech dork. He becomes a...
Yeah, it does look like a cover-up, but if it's a cover-up, what is he What is it trying to be, even? Oh, I think it's a dragon head. It's like the head of a dragon, maybe? Oh, it looks really bad.
Massive mega dork. See a Lambo pull up, and a big G gets out, now he's a mob boss.
If a guy in a Lambo pulls up and it's Andrew Tate, I'm gonna be like, holy shit, it's that weirdo from YouTube who openly admits to hitting his partners and abusing them. Police, hello?
The car amplifies who the person is. It doesn't change who the person is. The car is not going to make the geek a mob boss. It's just going to amplify who he already was. Money's an amplifier. So a lot of
He dated Jordan Peterson's daughter for a time, and I think their breakup is the only situation where I could say that both of them dodged a bullet mutually.
people are out here chasing money. You need to strongly look at who you are as a character in the simulation. I know in the simulation I'm the final boss. You know it. You're fighting the enemies. You walk in the last room. It's Tate. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm the final boss in the simulation. I was that before I had money. But you need to look at yourself as a character and decide who you are. And
all right, new rule. If you get old enough, or rich enough rather, that you can have a megalomaniacal speech where you call yourself the final boss in the Matrix while your bro films you while you're both shirtless in the gym, you don't get to make any more money. You have enough. You have enough. It's like a bartender cutting you off. Sir, you've had enough.
decide if having all of those qualities amplified is going to be a good thing. If you're a little simp for pussy, if you're a little...
Real Marcel vibes. And we all know what happened to Marcel. He's currently on the run from the RCMP, so I guess being a judge didn't help that much. Vast Lunacy says she may have dodged a literal bullet based on his abuse history. True.
A bitch for women, and you get rich. You think you're gonna be less of a bitch? You think you're not gonna be a playboy? Fuck no. You're gonna get taken to the cleaners, my friend. You think because you're gonna buy a nice car and you're gonna be the playboy, you're gonna be able to tell those bitches to fuck off? Zero. Because money, man, this takes me from those different directions. Money doesn't even work with women like they think it does. These losers get money and realize they still can't get no pussy. Because there's people out there with money plus everything else. It doesn't even work. So it amplifies who you are. That's what I was saying there in this thing. So you need to seriously analyze who you are as a person, analyze your character, and decide, do I want these qualities amplified? And if you don't, you need to change them. All this information is so nice. My other Twitter account, I was outside Mike Stutchbury's house knocking on the door and shit. I kind of get it. I'm a terrorist of the internet.
What kind of psychopath acts like this? Yeah, I stalk people and I go to their house and I send people to their house, but you know, it just is what it is. You're a criminal, Andrew!
I get it. Tate's on Twitter, everyone's crying, and I'm the guy who can reach through the screen. You start beef with me on Twitter, and then you look outside and there's people with war room t-shirts. You're like, what the fuck? I'm that guy. Well, find your address, and your parents' address, and your sister's address, and the school. Don't worry, we got all of it.
Yikes! Bleachy Gal, thanks for gifting a sub.
Young Kings, didn't I delete this? Young Kings, you are underperforming. You know in your soul that you are. Will you ignore this signal from the universe? Or is today the day that you become a professional? Decide.
Is he attracted to women, or is this another John Doyle type? He definitely is. He has a lot of photos where you can tell he's hired escorts, which is fine. I'm fine with sex work. Not that it's, you know, my call anyway, but, you know. Yeah, he likes to posture a lot by hiring sex workers and having them around him a lot of the time.
So that's a message to you. You watching this right now, you're underperforming. You can do better. You know you can do better. This is
he's physically attracted to women, but he does not respect or like women as human beings.
A signal from the universe, in the simulation we live in the computer program we live in. Somehow you've ended up on a chair in front of a computer screen watching this exact message. All the things on YouTube, you can watch anything else. All the places you could be anywhere else. All the words I could say anything else. But no, you're sitting here watching this screen right now in that chair, and I'm telling you you're underperforming. That is a signal from the universe. Are you going to listen and do something? Or are you going to sit there and go, yeah, maybe it is a signal from the universe, and go back to being fucking nobody? It's your choice to make. You know, I could go on and on about Young Kings forever. I think it's something we're going to revisit and go back to, because I have thousands of tweets of information like this. But in terms of the underperforming thing, what I get from most people, because I try and give advice to people, but I get a lot of messages and people often say to me the same thing, and they use ignorance as an excuse. I know I'm underperforming, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's a lie. Because if you knew you were underperforming but you didn't know what to do, well, you'd still be in fantastic shape at least, wouldn't you? I mean, you know to train. You know to lift things up and down. So you would have done that. Do you look like a monster? No. Why? Because you're underperforming. You know you need to network. Are you part of the war room? No. Why? Because you're underperforming. You know you need to make money. Are you part of Hulse University? No. Why? So it's ignorance.
You're a loser unless you literally pay me money to tell you how not to be a loser. This is not a scam.
Ignorance is your excuse. Well, I don't know how. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stop being a fuck up. So when I read through this Twitter account that Twitter deleted, I think there's nothing on there worth deleting, and then I understand that all of the information and knowledge that I spread out into the world is the antichrist to their new agenda. It's the antithesis. It's the fucking antidote. I'm trying to repair the poison they're inflicting in the minds.
Yes, everyone should go out and hire hitmen to go and beat people up. That sounds like a great world to live in.
That's why they don't like you. That's why everything about you must be gone. You're watching this on YouTube right now. There will be a time, some point in the future, probably not too distant, where I am no longer on YouTube. Tate's gone. I'll still exist. I'll still be the final boss. But you're not going to have access to my world any longer unless you're part of one of my private networks. So this is a little message about the Twitter account. YouTube's not going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever in this beautiful world. But if you're enjoying my content, I recommend you go to corporatetape.com, sign up for the email list at least. At least you will get my voice through the emails, because I'm telling you, in the world we live in today, I'm probably the only influence you have as a man that is anything other than fucking.
Dr. Gamble says, Cameraman's breathing sounds so uncomfortable, I keep expecting him to take the lens and whisper, anyone watching this, help me. This guy is crazy, he's threatening. He hired a mercenary with his Bitcoin if I run. Vast Lunacy says, God, this feels like he saw The Matrix once and just filled Agent Smith's speech with dude bro buzzwords. Yeah, that's a good way to describe Tate.
The most important thing.
He's a very, very strange guy. Let's put it that way. So that's what Tate's been up to. Being a goddamn psychopath. Surprise. Man, I'm hungry. Sorry, I'm just checking something real quick. Jesus Christ. Tammy Marie, thanks for 7 months. Appreciate it. Do we want to do this? We got that. Sticks. Could look at Right Wing Watch, I guess. Give me a sec. Let me switch over to that. You like the necklace I got, by the way? Baha got this for me. It was a Christmas present. Came with another one, too, that's in here. This one is a serpent, and this one is an all-seeing eye. I love them very much. Let's see what we got on Right Wing Watch, shall we? Oh god, what did Nick Fuentes think? What did Nick Fuentes say? Wait, he's banned from Twitch. I don't think I can watch him on Twitch. Rather safe than sorry on that one.
Stated goal is to depopulate the planet, and the ones that are left either make them chronically sick or turn them into transhumanist cyborgs that can be controlled by and manipulated externally by 5G, by magnets, by all sorts of things.
Not the magnets!
Now, I got dragged through the mud by the mainstream media when I said that in May of last year.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
In front of the House Committee in Columbus. Well, guess what?
Baja seems to like you. You know, I've noticed. Maybe I should ask her out on a date sometime.
It's all true. It's all true. They talk, you know, the whole issue of quantum entanglement and how what these shots do in terms of the frequencies and the electronic.
What about quantum entanglement? Quantum entanglement is the idea of two particles being intrinsically linked together in a way that when a state change happens to one particle, the other particle reacts in kind? What does that have to do with anything? She's just saying sci-fi buzzwords.
Frequencies that come inside of your body and hook you up to the Internet of Things, the quantum entanglement.
Ooh, yes, frequencies come inside of my body. Cruelty 45 with a link. Oh god, what is this? Oh yeah, yeah, bitch, magnets. It's a clip from Breaking Bad, though. Hold on.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
Entanglement that happens
Ravenwolf 73, thanks for 100 bits.
immediately after you're injected, and you get hooked up to what they're trying to develop. It's called the hive mind, and they want all of us.
Hey, resistance is futile, okay? Queen Goddess of Awesomeness, thanks for 250 bits. Narnia the Owl 45 says, using multimodal reflection sorting, and a hype train kicked off. Thank you.
There as a node and as an electronic avatar that is an exact replica of us.
62% to level 1 of the hype train.
Except it's an electronic replica. It's not our God-given body that we were born with. And all of that will be running through the metaverse that they're talking about. All of these things are
the metaverse is a marketing tool Mark Zuckerberg is trying to use to justify his acquisition of the Oculus platform. Tucker White says, would you explain what she's saying to me like I'm a stupid dumb shit? Sure. She says, medicine bad, cause me no understand. H. Baird with 45 bits says, she fell asleep while watching Star Trek First Contact, didn't she? At least it's the good next-gen movie, all things considered. 68% to level 1.
Real, Stu, all of them.
Yeah.
And it's happening right now. So it's not some science fiction thing happening out in the future. It's happening right now in real.
Source? Literally any source. Eris Malel, thanks for gifting a sub, bringing us to 99% of the level 1 of the hype train.
Because they felt it was too... They're removing Jingle Bells, the song, from school curriculums because they felt it was too Christian of a song. This is a direct attack on us Christians, a direct attack on our faith and our schools.
Can we talk about the state of healthcare in America instead of bitching about Christmas songs, please? Queen Goddess of Awesomeness, thanks for gifting a sub. Sidosaurus with 150 bits says, so many brainworms. Ravenwolf with 500 bits, thank you.
And our homes and our society is literally right now on its way to hell unless we turn back to God, turn back to Jesus, and we Christians stand up and fight, just like the Black Robe Regiment did in the 1700s in the
63% to level 2.
This great Revolutionary War, and I am proud to have my Black Robe Regiment coat that I wear along with my other brothers and sisters in the gospel. I am a Black Robe preacher, and I'm going to preach the gospel of Jesus in the halls of Congress. I'm going to bring the gospel of Jesus back to the center of American politics and bring this nation back to where it belongs. They're removing...
Good luck with that. Tucker White says, oh, for fuck's sake, we're 30 days into a new year and we're already starting another round of war on Christmas. I guess so. Nick says, your faith is homophobic. F your faith and F you as a person, Mark.
I truly believe, based on my interactions with the normie world, which I'm trying to cut down on. I really don't want to have that many more interactions with the normie
Bluebird EXE, thanks for following.
world. I've kind of had enough of it. I kind of stay in my own areas. But based on my interactions with the normie world, I truly believe that these GMO people, these Pfizer bloods, can detect pure bloods.
Pfizer bloods and pure bloods. That's not getting creepy at all. Ravenwolf with 1,000 bits. Thank you, bringing us over another level of the hype train.
I feel like they can smell it or something. They're like, they have some kind of a zombie scent. And it's like, there's a pureblood around and they become hostile. They become angry for some reason.
Gee, how would people detect an anti-masker? 20% to level 3.
Now, when I go around, these normies hate me. Even if I don't say anything, even if they don't know who I am, they don't.
Those sounds like delusions of persecution. You might want to talk to a psychiatrist about that one.
They've never seen me on TV. They've never seen me on this show. They don't know who I am. They can just sense.
Or they notice that you're not wearing a mask. It's probably that. Neemsor Kolboth, thanks for gifting a sub. Pappy Hal says, is a Pfizer blood a new slur in Harry Potter? And Sidosora says, effing purebloods, this is like elementary school level intellect. They're probably way too lost in the Potterverse using analogies like that.
There is something different about me, like we're a different species.
Maybe you're an inconsiderate asshole. Have you considered that?
Q is, it's 10 people. We don't know who Q is. It's 10 people, 3 non-military. We don't know. But, you know, it's the information, Ann.
It's the information. And, you know, Shady, you and Matrix have been branded as the QAnon guys. Even yours truly sitting right here, I've been branded the QAnon conspiracy theorist. And it's because I've found it fascinating, people who follow this track of information, the Q posts, whatever. Again, it's just another source of information to look at. But because if you dare utter those words, the mainstream media and those people...
No, plenty of people talk about the whole Q thing. Most people just also are like, this is crazy. Solomon52, thanks for 15 months. 73%
people that
to level 3.
seemingly are inside our movement but are more like plants and controlled opposition are going to seize the day to try and tarnish your reputation and discredit you.
Do I think Peter watches this Twitter unironically? I think he follows the accounts that get clipped to this Twitter.
Because they clearly don't want any information out there that could be a benefit to putting America first.
We don't.
Strong ramifications.
What the fuck?
I really believe that there's strong ramifications of what this COVID shot does to our genetics as a
Solomon52 with 100 bits, thank you.
Genetic modification technology that our God.
The vaccines are not modifying your genetics. Ravenwolf, thanks for 100 bits. Felicia Angel, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Very generous of you. I appreciate it.
God-given genes, that there's one of us. You know, when your dad's sperm and your mom's egg came together and God said, spark of life, there's never been another one of you ever, and there won't be in the future. And
unless you're a twin. I guess, an identical twin. Card Shark, thanks for gifting us up.
It's God's gift to us, and Yahweh is actually written right across of our genes in the Hebrew language, in the Hebrew letters, and these COVID shots are...
You believe that Hebrew is written into DNA. That's an interesting claim.
Actually going in and snipping those sulfide bonds and removing Yahweh from our genes.
What? 11% to level 5.
And actually, when you do all the spiritual, biblical texts and saying, our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and we volunteer to contaminate it, I think that that's a really, really big deal. And I think that those people who've taken the shot and start looking around at
she kind of stopped doing stuff. Yeah. Ravenwolf, thanks for 300 bits.
All the different ramifications of that, it's going to become a spiritual revival, Charlie. And, about that people need to get back to God, and because they got vaccinated for one of two reasons, either out of fear or convenience.
Bittergrin says, if Yahweh is in my genes, please cut him out. I don't want him in there. Ravenwolf with 300 bits and Felicia Angel with 795 bits says, continue the train, and 'cause I have work. 61% to level 5. We're very close. We might get a 2 level 5 hype train day. Vast Lunacy with 200 bits. Tucker White says, of course Hebrew was coded in our DNA, Hannah. Why do you think it took until recently to accurately map the structure? Oh God, it's the same quantum
And
entanglement lady.
I want people to remember this term because you're going to hear a lot of it in the next year. Quantum entanglement.
This is not what quantum entanglement means.
Quantum entanglement.
Narnandia Owl says, I'm sorry, you avoided your warranty on your soul. And Ravenwolf with another 100, MW1642 with another 100, 77% to level
Because
5.
when that's from a physics perspective, what happens when you take that shot in, there's all this entangling that goes on. And with the artificial
That's not how that works. What?
Intelligence hooking you up to the Google credit scores and
Okay. Quantum entanglement. Joey is strong. Thank you for gifting a sub. 94%. So quantum entanglement, I vaguely know about it. But let's look at the Wikipedia page, shall we, to get a better understanding. Felicia Angel with 100 bits. We're at 97%. Quantum entanglement is a physical phenomena that occurs when a group of particles are generated, interact, or share spatial proximity in such a way that the quantum state of each particle of the group cannot be described independently of the state of the others, including when the particles are separated by a large distance. The topic of quantum entanglement is at the heart of the disparity between classical and quantum physics. Entanglement is a primary feature of quantum mechanics lacking in classical mechanics. Hydrate. Ravenwolf with 200 bits, Procagon with 100 says, I'll give this woman so much money if she can give me the definition of quantum entanglement. And Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. We did it. Level 5. We're at 140% with Big Mad Boatman subscribing for 10 months. Okay. So basically quantum entanglement is the interaction of quantum particles causing them to entangle in such a way that the state of one affects the state of the other that it is entangled with, regardless of the distance, right? So for like a sci-fi example of this, in the game Mass Effect, in the second game, you have a quantum entanglement communication system, and it's basically a instantaneous communication system on the ship that works over any distance, because it works by, in one location, you have a series of particles that are one way, and then entangled particles on the ship, and then you affect these particles to basically send data based on the state of the particles that will instantly be received at the point of the ship because they are entangled. So if you change these, it'll change these and vice versa, right? So in sci-fi, that's effectively a thing that gets used sometimes. But like, this is not a thing with medicine. What the fuck is she talking about? What particles does she think are being entangled?
all the, all of the D matrix and all of those things. It's happening in people that have already been injected. So what you need to do is really understand what their end game is and block it and repent and stand back, trust and truth and lead into the Lord. And then that is your salvation, is to get that back into your body.
Jesus Christ. Thanks everyone for the hype train. Another level 5. Really great day for hype trains. Appreciate it.
The reason why we are political is because the devil is going for the one ring to rule them all. If you watch
Brogagam says, the Google particle and the Twitter particle entangle with the God particle and quantum leap it away.
Tolkien,
that made about as much sense as what she said.
This is the ring. He gets that Supreme Court. He gets that executive branch. He already is getting the military. He's purging out patriots. He's already got the wokeified, weird doctrine of wokeness going into the CIA and the intelligence community, and they're looking at you like you are the domestic threat to the future. It's a communist spirit, virtually, in the American progressive Marxist movement. Same stinking
really cute fan art of my D&D character. Hold on, I gotta save this. It's so cute. Someone made fan art of my D&D character. Check it out. Let me turn this down. It's a little hard to see. I might have to turn down the brightness. The top is really bright still. It's great, though. Nick says, the people you call patriots should be... should be prevented from ever being within the spitting distance of a gun. Garo the Khajiit says, you saw it. I hope you like it. I'm Nails the Tabaxi on Twitter. Oh, it's excellent. I love it. Thank you. That's so cool.
Communist demon working through Marxism in the American progressive woke culture. Same thing. All power in the government, all nerve endings going into one centralized command, a spirit coming over them, making you the enemy. And the only way this can be excommunicated out of the chapel of Washington is if we do an exorcism. And the exorcism means we're going to have to cast the devil out. And the devil goes out in November.
The threat does is we have what understanding the threat does is we have what I call our the starting block. It's our 3-day training program, and we used to focus at the national level, and we realized that was a waste of time, and we brought it down to the state level. And while we met some good governors and attorney generals, none of them were willing to do what needed to be done. And when we brought it down to
this. Oh, I did. Okay, cool.
Sheriffs and pastors, thinking we'll get to that local level, we couldn't find enough sheriffs and pastors courageous enough to actually do anything about that.
Yeah.
So when I first moved to Texas about 5 years ago, I started developing a program for citizens. And when we started teaching it about 4 years ago and actually training them on how to identify these folks in the community and then showing them how to take actions to rip these people out of the community and punt them out of their county or state, and do it lawfully but very aggressively. These people have to be flushed. Yeah. And these are bad people. To take back your city council, to throw your mayor in jail if you're capable, to take back your schools, your chamber of commerce.
Jesus Christ.
I am one of the few human beings on earth that holds in my hand.
Nick with 45-bit says, singing literal Nazi shit. Yep, these people are horrifying.
What I'm about to show you, I am so excited about it. Official money.
Hydrate.
God's money. Real MS-70 Silver Eagle coin. This is not a doubloon. This is the real, it's the only government money, official money in the world with my president on it.
He bought one of those scam coins. Oh, this idiot. Oh no, the caption says he bought 10 of them. That's even worse.
Look how beautiful that is. I bought 10 of these.
Oh, you idiot. You absolute moron.
Look at that, with that American flag behind our president. I bought 10 of these, and I bought them for $250 a piece. And now some of them are already selling for $1,000 on eBay. Oh, I tell you what, this is going to be priceless one day.
You know what? He deserves to take a bath on that one. I don't feel bad. Bittercrin says I should really start selling Trump merchandise. Oh shit, did Ethan Ralph get convicted? Far-right podcaster Ethan Ralph convicted of revenge porn. On the morning of January 5th, far-right podcaster Ethan Ralph entered the Richmond Juvenile Domestic Relations District Court in Richmond, Virginia. The 36-year-old Richmond resident walked out having been convicted of disseminating images of another in the case of revenge porn against Faith Vickers, the mother of his child, and his ex-girlfriend, who was 18 at the time of the crime. Zarek Shadow says, I went to a bartender that had these coins, some Trump rings, recall Newsom stuff. I have not gone back. Court records from January 5th plea that were provided to the Right Wing Watch show that Ralph pleaded nolo contendere, which is no contest, thus accepting the conviction without admitting guilt. Presiding over the case, Judge Bryce Edward Lambert sentenced Ralph to 12 months and suspended the sentence, meaning Ralph will not go to jail as long as he maintains, quote, good behavior. Ralph hosts The Kill Stream, a podcast that has welcomed a host of extremists, from failed neo-Nazi congressional candidate Patrick Little to white supremacist Lana Lokteff. He was a leader in the misogynist 2014 Gamergate campaign, which harassed and doxed female developers. More recently, he's defended white nationalist Nick Fuentes and invited white supremacist Richard Spencer on his show. Ralph was supposed to spend the 2 days prior to his plea hosting a 24-hour free Ralph festival featuring far-right internet figures, but the fundraiser for his legal fee was stymied in part by a snowstorm. The promotional image for the event, which Ralph shared on Twitter, featured a debate between Styx, Hex, and Hammer, Tarl Warwick, who regularly espouses nationalistic views to his nearly 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and Paul Ray Ramsey, a misogynist white nationalist. Others set to appear in support of Ralph included British fascist Mark Collette and Adam Green, founder of the conspiracist website known for peddling anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Over the years, Ralph's podcast and internet persona have showcased his blend of extremist views and abusive behavior, notably August 11th, 2020. In the early hours of that day, while Vickers, then his girlfriend, was in the hospital, Ralph released a video of two of them having sex on another individual's live stream. He told Vickers that he had been hacked. Ralph was arrested for sharing the video in mid-December, after Vickers had left Ralph in Richmond and moved across the country. He was released to his own recognizance in lieu of bail the same day. In February of 2021, the prosecution tabled its case against Ralph via nolle prosequi. Don't know if I pronounced that right. While Ralph celebrated the prosecution's decision and falsely claimed he was exonerated, Assistant Commonwealth's attorney Kelly Burnett told Right Wing Watch at the time that nolle prosequi is not the same thing as not guilty. Well, nolle prosequi cases are rarely revisited. The prosecution reinstated its case against Ralph in August, following Vickers' request to pursue the case again. By that time, Vickers had been granted a domestic violence temporary restraining order against Ralph for her son and herself, a restraining order that Ralph had been charged with violating twice, according to court documents. The 12-month suspended sentence handed down to Ralph by Judge Lambert means Ralph will not serve his 12 months in jail as long as he maintains, quote, good behavior, including keeping the peace, obeying the order, and paying fines and costs. As such, Ralph will essentially be on unsupervised probation for the next year and could potentially head to jail for up to a year for any infraction. The conviction is not his first. Back in 2018, Ralph spent 8 months in jail for resisting arrest and attacking a police officer who Ralph had seemed keen to note is Latino. Ralph left the courthouse on January 5th for declaring, at least publicly, victory. Recording an unsteady video from the car and his current pregnant girlfriend, Ralph celebrated, screaming and singing along to Drake's God's Plan. 20 minutes later, he posted to Twitter a photo of himself at Richard Jefferson Hotel with his girlfriend, flashing the OK hand symbol, which has been appropriated by some extremists as a sign for white power, captioning the photo, "It's a 5-star kind of day." I've also no probation or anyone to report to, and I didn't plead guilty to anything. Ralph tweeted shortly thereafter, conveniently focusing on his plea rather than his conviction. Right Wing Watch reached out to Ralph via Twitter Sunday for comment. We will update this story should he respond. For Vickers, who now lives in California, the conviction brings relief. The case is over and she won't have to come back to Virginia to testify. All I really wanted was the conviction, she said. She sat in the courtroom as the court found him guilty and began sentencing. He could say I was a thought, he could say I was a whore, but he couldn't even look at me in the eyes after the judge had said he was guilty of what he did to me. After so many months of pleading he was innocent and that he was going to face anything, and that he was the one who won in the end, Vickers said, I came all the way out there to make sure just some sort of justice was found. The January 5th conviction is not the end of Ralph's legal troubles. Ralph is set to be arraigned on January 24th of 2 misdemeanors for violating Vickers' restraining order against him. Yikes. Why did he even get a suspended sentence then? What the fuck? Still, hopefully he'll do some dumb shit and get brought in again and his suspended sentence will take effect.
From heaven's standpoint, Trump is the #1 government official on planet Earth.
Okay, in the hierarchy of people who get a say in the government, heaven isn't on the list.
He is the president, not just of the United States. He is God's president for Earth at this time. But his assignment, people like, when is he going to be there? In this, the seat where Biden is way less important than people know. At some point, yes, he's going to. That seat will be back officially where it's supposed to. I don't know the timing of it. I had no idea of the full picture, the full range of everything that needed to be corrected and then brought into alignment with the kingdom of God. When I was getting the original prophetic words on it, my initial stuff is the world will be known as before and after Trump when he comes in. And I was even looking at my prophetic word from 4 years ago. It's going to be an 8-year operation for that to happen. And so when we understand that there are people that are not just more powerful than the president of the United States, they're more powerful than the United States is right now.
Garo the Khajiit says, why do all these people think that the man who is the physical embodiment of all 7 deadly sins is God's chosen president? Oh wait, it's the racism.
Reich did not end when doctors like Joseph Mengele, who were in the SS, began experimenting on medically vulnerable populations without their consent. Nor will our genocide end just because Fauci and friends are doing the same.
Tucker White says, wait, you just said Trump is, quote, God's president, unquote, so how is the seat Biden occupies not important?
Hey, everybody, the idiot parade is in town. Shut the up. Shut the
As I keep getting more information coming in from my friends who are part of the murder machine of any hospital, I'm going to name...
Squid, thanks for raiding. Everyone go check out Antipodian Squid here on Twitch. Could I get a link in chat for Squid, please? I'd appreciate it.
Name names, show pictures where I can. These are the nurses, doctors involved in murdering this people, and I'm going to start pushing these people into the public eye, and let's see how they like that battlefield.
Wow.
That's the next move. Look, we can't allow the enemy or anybody to use our virtues against us.
That's right.
And I don't, obviously, we know that. And that's probably where I was able to overcome any barriers to letting Patriot Street Fighter rip and fly. I don't allow anybody to, the semantics of language or use my virtues against me. This is war. It's going to get bloody, and I'm going to get ugly too. No less ugly than any 1776 preacher that dropped his Bible on the lectern, grabbed his muzzle loader or musket and went out and put balls and bullets inside people and watched blood flow on a battlefield. That's what they had to do. That's in the name of Christ. It's an evil enemy. Any of them.
How is this shit not arrestable at this point? He's literally just telling people to go, murder people. This is, stoking violence directly. These are direct, what's the word? I'm blanking. Sorry, I'm getting really tired. I've been tired today. He's directly inciting violence against people. This shit's illegal.
Minions, including the doctors and nurses who are part of it, knowingly or unknowingly, that's not for me to sort out.
Yep.
But they need to know what's coming next, and that's the only other battle that I can see in my future now coming up after what happened to Kirsten W.
What an absolute ass. Oh god, this is the guy who did that squawk bit.
Now, I'm telling you people, when you see this, it's a very special club. You had to be indoctrinated to get that club. When you
Pirates? Yar, matey.
see black eyes, that's a club. You have to be indoctrinated by that club.
He must be a fan of Call.
Now, I went to Las Vegas with my daughter. We went to, I want to say, the Araya Hotel. In there is a Lady Gaga like display, like a mini museum. My daughter's like, oh my God, Lady Gaga, so cool. The first thing I see are skin boots, human skin boots. Then there's a video of her doing the whole thing like this. Then there's meat dress that when you play the lighting a certain way, it goes all different color. There you go. That's the meat dress of Lady Gaga. Now, you ain't telling me she joined a special, creepy, demonic club. And
one of my favorite conspiracy tropes is someone does some avant-garde weird thing for attention and they immediately go, "This is Satan!"
when these people are finally put in that category, the demons that are pulling their strings put them on the highest ladder to become popular, to sway everyone in the wrong direction. It's been a classic move since the beginning of time. Roman Empire, it goes on and on and on.
What a nut. Okay, I think we're caught up on right-wing watch, more or less. Alright, we'll watch this, and then we're gonna call it a night. Any update on the Call Twitter thing? Not that I know of. I haven't been paying attention at all. Is he even still doing it? I have him blocked. If he's wasting time screaming into the void, I'm very happy about it, because then he's spending less time making actual conspiracy videos.
I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. It was good.
Human beings are weird. That is an undeniable fact. We all
Citisaurus says, I got a notification that he violated the rules regarding your report. Oh, that's nice.
do weird things. I know that there is at least one thing that you do in the privacy of your own home that you want nobody on this planet to ever find out about. And hey, that's okay. But with that being said, sometimes, every now and then, weird is not okay. And well, today is one of those days. This lady right here is married to a doll. And not just a normal doll, she's married to a zombie child doll. No, you're not hallucinating. Your hearing is not being affected by some sort of external force. You heard that right. Now, this is one of those videos I came across and just really...
Why is it the scariest scariest doll in the world. Like, if she was gonna marry a doll, which it's not, like, a legal marriage, but I don't really care what people do. She's not bothering me. Why is it the scariest doll? Why is it a child doll with, like, a bowl cut with, like, no jaw? Why?
I couldn't wrap my head around, so usually when that happens, I
That looks
bring
like the head from Hereditary. Spoilers for Hereditary.
it to you guys. So we're gonna watch it together and find out how this marriage works. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Kelly, let's watch our wedding video. That was such a special day. I really love you, and I really enjoyed marrying you, you know? I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
Okay, alright, so in situations like this, I like to start with the positives. She think that anybody, even a
.com site, and I was 10, I found Kelly on a creepycollection.com.
Creepy doll in the wall says, Hannah, why are we watching a video about my wife? I'm sorry.
Site, and I had to have her, and my dad said if I get good grades in school, he'll let me have her. And by the time I was 13, Kelly was mine.
So just for some quick context, I think when this video was recorded, this woman was 37. So this is a relationship going on 24 years strong. I mean, I guess you can't question her loyalty.
I like...
This is from the... Hold on. I'll find the whole video without the commentary. There we go.
Kelly, let's watch our wedding video. That was such a special day. I really love you, and I really enjoyed marrying you, you know? I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Hi, my name is Felicity Cadillac Rossi, and I'm married to my love, Kelly the Zombie Doll. When I was 10, I found Kelly on a creepycollection.com site, and I had to have her, and my dad said if I get good grades in school, he'll let me have her. And by the time I was 13, Kelly was mine. I chose a zombie doll because I love zombies. Her look may bother people, but she doesn't bother me. Just because she's a zombie doll doesn't mean she's evil. This is just how I chose her. I like and love zombies. I think they're cool. That doesn't mean that I'm attracted to dead people. It just means I love dolls, and I just happen...
I mean, it's not a dead person. It's not a person at all. It's an inanimate object. You're an objectophile, I think that's called, or something.
Like the horror dolls. I like to go shopping with Kelly and buy outfits for her because it's fun and it actually helps me with my depression. I always wondered how she'd look in a hat.
You've had her for decades and you never once put a hat on it? Sus.
Probably not too good. I have a lot of different clothes for her, and like it's just fun to just take care of her. It's nice. These are the type of clothes that I like to get Kelly for dressy, and shirts like this because I don't know, she likes stuff like that. Like tomboy, she's a tomboy. When I'm talking about Kelly, I'm speaking from my heart. Some people think it's a big joke, and it's not to me. You know, she's who I love. And we even have matching necklaces, rings, and tattoos. I like to go out to eat with Kelly, especially at the Chinese restaurant, because I like shrimp and she likes broccoli. Kelly, do you want to taste my broccoli? It's good? Yeah. I like it too. She likes the sauce. It's always nice taking Kelly out for a bite to eat, but sometimes I get a little nervous because of what people might say. When I think of Kelly, I think of her as a person, and some people don't think of her that way, so they don't treat her that way, and I'm tired.
The fact that I only lost like 10% of the viewers when I started this video is honestly pretty commendable. Good job, everyone who's still sticking around. There's only 5 minutes left.
Tired of people bullying us and saying bad things and mean things, and you know, everybody says don't bully until it's something that they don't like or they don't understand. And people fear what they don't understand. I'm not a bad...
To be clear, I don't think you should bully this person at all. I certainly find it different. This is not something I've seen other people do. I don't think she deserves to be bullied. At maximum, she deserves help and support for whatever this is.
Bad person.
Brockagam says, some of us sat through the poop video, we're built different. True.
With my love for Kelly, and I'm not a pedophile, and I'm not an evil person, and I'm not possessed, and she's not possessed, and I'm not gonna stop loving who I love, or to society what.
Does she fuck the doll? Does she fuck the doll? Does she fuck this doll?
I love because of an opinion. I'll always be married to Kelly, and I don't think there'll ever be a day. It could change, but I don't think it will. I wanted to do a full-blown wedding because I wanted to show my love to her in that kind of way, like, hey, Kelly, you know, I love you, and I just wanted to have a little, and it was around my birthday, around our birthday, so it was like a little birthday party, but it was a really beautiful day. I had a really beautiful dress. I felt like a real woman, and then Kelly was dressed really nicely, and it felt really, really nice, and it's a day I'll never forget. I like doing this because, like, sticking her hair in my ear, because it makes me feel relaxed. I used to do it to my dad's big bushy beard when I was a kid. My dad recently passed away, and he meant and means a lot to me because, you know, even though he didn't really understand me, like, all the way, you know, he still accepted me, and he tried so hard to be a good dad, and, you know, I just miss him. Childhood was okay, but then as I got to be teenager, 15 and up, it got really difficult because I found my birth family. I wanted to have a relationship with my birth father because he was a lot younger, and I knew my father, Charles, who adopted me, wasn't going to last that long. He was old.
H. Baird with a link.
He was older, he was getting sicker, and when I tried to be with my birth father, you know, he ended up hanging himself, and I saw him brain dead on life support and everything else like that.
This video is a lot.
I tried to be with my birth mom, and she was talking to me, and she said, when I get out of prison, just because I get out of prison doesn't mean that I drop me and your father just gonna drop everything just because you're around, and I don't, and that just hurt my feeling. And then it just seems like family can really be tough, you know? Kelly was
this poor woman
there with me through all of it, and that's why our bond got stronger. And I just think that as time went on, I just started like treating the dolls more like people. These are my other partners, and no, they're not children. She's 38, he's 37, and she's 39. Zoe has a British accent. She's from, as what I feel, she's from London, England, and she is very intelligent, very witty. He's all happy and fun. He kind of reminds me of Ted the bear.
It is weird to me that they're all clearly dolls of children. That's off-putting.
And then, like, Courtney's like badass, like speak your mind, be cool, and yes, I am.
Like, you can tell me it's a 7,000-year-old, you know, vampire all you want.
Romantic with all of them, but mainly it's usually Kelly. I go through little phases like a Courtney, or Tommy, Zoe. Sometimes it feels like I'm actually really falling in love all over again, but I know I
mean, the dolls are cool for, like, a Halloween decoration. This is... she needs therapy. I feel bad.
I keep going back to Kelly. And it's like, I just love Kelly. She's short, but who cares? There are people out there who have dysfunctions where they look like children, but they're really not. You know what I mean? I've seen it, and everybody just keeps calling me a pedophile, and I'm not. I would never do something like that. whether my past was good or bad or whatever mixed together, even my life went totally perfect, and I'd still be with Kelly because I noticed that I just draw to inanimate objects like dolls and stuff like that. It's object sexuality, but I don't really like to consider it that way because my dolls don't look like objects, they look like people, but then again, I'm not attracted to people, so call me a pedophile, and I'm not. I would never do something. People say I'm mentally ill because of Kelly. No, I'm mentally ill because that's just the way. So I'm kind of in the middle there. For the people that want to know why, I don't know why because that's just the way I am. When people say I'm mentally ill because of Kelly, no, I'm mentally ill because of people like you and other people who are not nice. Mentally ill meaning bipolar, depression, and anxiety, you know, and stuff like that. But I don't really hear her talk. I just think of the voice, and that's what makes me think, you know what I mean? Or I feel a feeling like somebody can feel God or Jesus, like, talking to them. That's how I feel with my dolls. I don't really hear things, and I'm not mentally ill when it comes to that. But Kelly helps me with my depression and helps me with my anxiety, you know, but it makes it worse when I take her to the store worrying about what people are going to say and do because people are mean like that. That's what makes my mental illness worse. People are the reason why my mental illness has been so bad.
Well, that's interesting. All right, let's raid someone. That's the end of the stream. Looks like Jack's doing a subathon, so let's raid Jack. Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'll see y'all soon. Probably tomorrow. Depends on how my electrolysis goes, I guess. If it's too bad, then I might skip tomorrow. It's been fun. I'll see you guys soon. At minimum, I'll be back for Tuesday for Tinfoil Tuesday. So I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.